Hello, everybody, and welcome to Save or Die Outcasts. It is Arachis' solo session. How are you doing today, Arachis, now that Jan's not here to tell us not to check in with one another?
Yeah, well, I was thinking about this. I'm doing well, but given that we've been hanging out for the last few days, Neil, there's not really much to catch up on, is there really? So, but I'm doing good. I'm here in
Once again.
the high altitude of Colorado. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm
How was
excited to play some
Colorado?
D&D. It's been all right. Yeah, Neil took me up to the mountains just before. That was very nice. I've been Neil's been putting me to work in the kitchen.
Oh my God, you guys, Nick is actually a really good cook.
Thank you. That's what I was fishing for.
Like surprisingly a good cook.
But other than that, yeah, no, I'm doing good. I've been in New York for the last week before this with Fran. She's gone back home now, so I came down here. Yeah, all feeling good. But I'm excited to get into this solo session. I think there's a lot of fun stuff to explore.
Yes. So, speaking of, where did we leave off last? Does anyone remember?
Well, I think we ended the session with our completed mission to free Grau and the Fireflies. We attacked that fort that they had. We kind of replaced the guards, waited for the caravan carrying the prisoners to turn up, and when they turned up, we ambushed them. We fucked them up. We freed the prisoners. We got Grau back, and as I understand it, not Renatus. I can't remember everyone's characters when I can't see their name.
August.
Moot's character, August. Thank you. And Grau have gone back to Autumn's tower to help with the escorting of the priests. And Ren and Arachis have gone back to Holy City Emberstone, where Ren is working in the church. So Arachis has some time to kill in the city while Ren is busy and the other two are out traveling.
So why is it that Arachis is hanging out in Holy City Emberstone instead of just heading back with the others?
Well, he's got things that he wants to be looking into, and whilst he's been on this quest with the others, he doesn't always have the time he needs to do the research he wants to sort of spend some time thinking about things. But there is something slightly more specific, which is Thalius's Spellbook, which is the wizard that Arachis originally sort of mistakenly killed and stole, and hence being on the run. Well, Thalius is actually from Holy City Emberstone. The book is marked with an address saying that to return it to a certain address within the city. And Thalius seems like a good guy. The spellbook says that he's a friend to the common man, which I'm not trying to deny. But he is dead now, and who knows what kind of magical treasures are just lying, being wasted in his house. I'm sure it won't be that simple, but I think yes, I'm here.
It's okay. My bad.
Permitted me not to check Thalius's address to see if there isn't any a few more things I could perhaps liberate and put to better use for the good of the common man.
Now, Thalius is the person who you did a little murder on, just a little murder.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, just to characterize it correctly, I would call it manslaughter personally. I pushed him over and he banged his head. It's not really my fault.
It's true. It was an accident.
It was an accident. Yeah, it wasn't murder. It was manslaughter. Thank you. I'm not sure if they differentiate between the two here, but it's important for me to know that.
Yes. But that is the reason why there are some wanted posters out for you.
Yeah, that is somewhat of a concern. I would like to take a look at one of these wanted posters. I think we can say that I go out and get one now. I think that at some point when I've been walking through the streets, I would have pulled one off the wall and pocketed it. I just want to get a little look at how they've, how they've painted me in this picture, and maybe try and work out what I could do to make myself look less like the picture in the wanted poster.
Well, you can go around and find a wanted poster of yourself, but I do want to add the caveat that if there's a board of wanted posters and you go up to the board of wanted posters and there's someone else there and there's the wanted poster of you and you pick it off, Like there's a non-zero
Okay.
chance that someone's going to be like, "Hey, aren't you the like?"
Yeah. No, sorry. I was
It needs to be done
imagining that they.
tactically.
I was
Mhm.
imagining that they would have been like, around the city, maybe like one in a random alley or something that I could just
Mm.
grab. But if they're only on wanted boards, I
Yeah,
think
they'll
I
be like
still want to get
message
hold of one.
boards of some kind. Mhm.
I think what I would do is just try and wait for it to be empty, and then use Alter Self and quickly just grab it and head back to my inn,
Mhm.
just to
Okay.
avoid any immediate catching. We can roleplay that if you want, if it's non-trivial.
Well, let's see. Find a place where there are wanted posters. You've got a long time, right? You've got a
Yeah.
month while we're here. So I think you've got plenty of time to, if you're not trying to do this in a hurry, to find a place
Yeah.
where such a poster could be, to cast Alter Self and walk up to it. And if the wanted poster's not there, like we just skip to the next day where you do the same thing until you find what you want. So if we're
There you go.
willing to burn a couple of days out of your month, not a problem. We can just skip to you being in a tavern or in your hotel room.
In my room. Yeah, in my room. Yeah,
Mm.
okay. So I'm in my room. It's been a couple of days. So that was a couple of days of like wandering around and watching these wanted boards and trying to find one that was in a place that was maybe a little bit less crowded, and to find a good opportunity to grab one, which I do. So it's been a couple of days. I'm back in my room. I've probably got on the desk of this room, I've got Thalius's Spellbook open on the first page. I've got my wanted poster. I've got Sigris, the notes I took from Sigris Shadowhand, his spells out there as well. And I'm kind of looking across my collection of magical, spellcrafty information, and just trying to take it all in. But yeah, let's look at this poster first. So, how accurate of a image is this of me?
It's not bad. If you've seen someone do a caricature drawing of another person, it's in line with that. Not so goofy, not like exaggerated features, but it looks more or less like you. If you were to hold this poster next to yourself, someone would look between the two of them and go like, "Oh yeah, totally, same person." If you were to find this on the street and then start walking around looking for someone like you, yeah, it would work. It's got the right depth of eyes, the right sort of chin and jawline. The hairline is kind of similar. The hair color's similar.
So am I in this picture? Am I wearing robes? Am I wearing red robes? Does it say like red robe?
Yeah, I mean
or something?
it's just like chest to head, and then there's like red for the garments you would wear.
Okay, and he's got his hood down in the picture.
Yeah, no hood at all. Just like red top from like the bust line up.
Okay, so I feel like if I wore my hood up and wore kind of a black cloak over me, then I wouldn't be immediately recognizable. I think that there's a certain element of risk just being here because of this, but I think it's a risk that I'm willing to manage.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, hood up, as we discussed previously, does help, at least cut the people from the sides from seeing you. But the more the hood obscures the face, the more interest and suspicion people might have to begin with, right? The more they won't be able to tell what's going on, but they'll be interested to find out what's going on, right?
What's the climate like in Holy City Emberstone? Is it raining a lot? It sounds like it's raining.
It's raining presently. Where is September? Actually, by now it's October. So it's getting a little bit later in the year. It's on towards that like autumn, rainy season. Generally, the area I would say is temperate, nice, but the winter time, the late fall, early winter, it does get a bit overcast and a little bit rainy.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that during these months of the year, especially if it's raining, that walking around wearing a hood might not draw as much suspicion as one might in the summer.
That's true, as long as you're in the streets. But once you go back into a building, the hood becomes really weird.
Yeah, that's true. And how if these wanted posters are on wanted boards, like how prevalent are they? It's been a little while. Are they like covered up maybe by new wanted posters, or is it there's only a few and it's quite clear
there are a
that this
few
person is wanted?
Message boards where people will leave like wanted poster or a help wanted, or the sorts of messages that someone might want to leave for the general public. And there's a few of those scattered around the city. And these will be at all of them, but sometimes they'll be a little bit tucked away underneath, like, like they were posted a long, long time ago, and other things have since been plastered on top. In other areas that you've seen, probably the area where you snatched this one, it looks like somebody has gone to the effort of making a new copy and putting it on top of everything else. So even though these have been around for a while, you get the distinct impression that someone out there is still actively hunting for this mysterious figure.
And do I think that could be? Is that just the forces that be, like the state, or is that likely to be someone that knows Thalius?
This is likely to be Thalius's family. Most of the power in the world, at the level of like the societal level, comes from the family structure and the family unit. So either Thalius has a more powerful family, or he was the most powerful member of his family who is now seeking to sort of even the score or settle the score somehow. And as long as his murder goes unavenged, that would look bad on his family.
Does the wanted poster say like wanted for the murder of Thalius Whisperwood?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I would get to go around asking about him, then even mentioning his name is likely to draw more attention.
Mentioning his name is probably likely to get you a response, that someone might know where his family is, what they might be going on about, what sort of other people might have been asking. You could get some information, but it would definitely draw attention to, it's probably a known quantity amongst the people who would pay attention. Gutter rat number 12 probably doesn't care or pay attention, but
he's also likely not to know much about who Thalius is anyway.
Right.
Although he is a friend of the common man.
Now, you say friend of the common man. What does that mean?
Well, that's what he's right. It says in the spellbook, it says, if lost, please return to Thalius Whisperwood, wizard, sage, scholar, and friend of the common man for a great reward.
And then it has his address, right?
Yeah, Dockin Manor, Salamander Lane, Holy City, Emberstone. So I'm sitting in my room thinking about this. On one hand, I would like to go to Dockin Manor and search for other magical gear. There is another option here, which is to return the spellbook and get the great reward, which maybe one of the other party members would like me to do that, but I suppose a spellbook like this is worth more than any other great reward that you could get anyway. So I think that's kind of off the table. So yeah, sitting here, I think it's probably evening by now. I'm taking my meal in my room, and I'm kind of thinking about what I want to do here. I've walked around the city somewhat. Have I come across Salamander Lane? Do I know where that is, or would I have to look for it?
Let's see. No, you have no idea. Haven't the foggiest clue.
Do I have some indication of how the town is laid out? Like, perhaps this is where a manor is likely to be in this area, or is it kind of, it's random where the big houses are?
So it's an old city. There's an inner city where the older, wealthier, richer section is, as is fairly common in this part of the world. And then you've got the outer city, which is a little bit more mixed of everything. I have an oversimplified version of it on our map page right here, where the big brown circle is the outer city and the golden circle is the inner city. And there are a couple of roads that lead in and out, one off the top, one off the east, and one off the southwest.
Okay.
Wildly oversimplified. So you all have been hanging out in a tavern. The very first tavern you saw was right over here. And I think you ended up, if my memory serves right, you all ended up moving somewhere else, which is probably closer to over here. Okay. And then when you were fighting the events of our last session with the elf and all of that jazz was happening like just down the street from that, like in this section over here.
Okay, right near where our hotel room is.
Right near where your hotel room was, is right there. Yeah.
Okay. In my time wandering around the city the last couple of days, have I seen any magic shops?
Yes. Yes, you have. There is a magic shop on the main boulevard that, I'm just going to do this in brown. There's like, this road does head towards the city, the inner city. This heads towards the inner city, and this heads towards the inner city, making them the major boulevards. And along one of those, there was a magic shop not too far from the old city. Um, yeah.
I haven't got your spreadsheet open, but remind me, how much does a lightstone cost?
Like 10 gold or something? Let me double check it.
Yeah, double check it, because I ain't got that much gold.
Mm-hmm. Right, I think you're all sort of a little brokey broke.
Yeah.
Lightstone, 10 GP, 1,000 copper pieces.
Okay. I want to buy a lightstone. So...
You don't have money.
Yeah. No, I have some money.
Oh.
I do have some money. I've got enough gold to buy a lightstone. I'm just slightly worried about going into a magic shop and maybe the wizard knows this Thalius guy.
I mean, if you're running a wizard shop, you would probably be... You probably know Thalius. You'd probably know the person, or at least be aware that he was murdered and have an idea of what that person looks like.
Yeah. So what I will do is go to the... it's raining. I'm going to leave my hotel room. Wait, no, the wizard shop will be closed now, right?
If it's nighttime, yes.
Yeah, okay.
You can just wait till the next day.
Yeah, I'm going to wait till the next day. So I think I spend the night kind of reviewing Thalius's spellbook. I'm specifically looking at this first page, right? So I'm going to read what you've written in my notes here, which is the first page has a large wizard mark belonging to Thalius in the top center with the text below, Traveling Spellbook Mark II. And then it says basic passphrase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm going to cast Detect Magic and look at the book. Now, I know that the book itself has a magical aura on it, correct?
Yes. When you cast Detect Magic, it reveals a strong magic aura that's on the book from an unknown source. And when you view the first page through Detect... Oh, that's what those brackets are. Is that when you view the first page through Detect Magic, the words basic passphrase appear. That's why they're in brackets. That's on the left text box.
So that's odd, basic passphrase. I mean, it's an odd thing to have written in magical script. So is that like a wizard mark or something I'm thinking he's done there?
Well, there are some spells that will appear only through such means. Mm-hmm.
The rest of the book, you've said that there's 39 pages of spells and 57 pages of gibberish. Is the 57 pages of gibberish just spells that I've yet to use Read Magic on?
No, you've used Read Magic and it's just gibberish. It's just garbled, meaningless text. It just lorem ipsum, dolor sed amen.
Interesting. So I'm thinking that maybe basic passphrase is some sort of cipher or a way to unlock the cipher of this gibberish here. So I'm going to spend, it's late night. I'm going to go to bed soon. And I spend a couple of hours looking at these gibberish pages and seeing if I can work a way that basic passphrase might be a key to unlocking, the secrets here. Like, can I see any patterns in in a different campaign? We talked about ciphers, but I'll look for like the same 3-letter short word, for example, like the word "the." Am I seeing the same 3 symbols coming up often, representing the word "the," or does this truly just look like gibberish?
It truly looks like gibberish.
So I can't draw any patterns.
Right, because normally when you write something, you need Read Magic to understand it because the script is in the language of magic, which isn't always nice printed, letters from an alphabet. Sometimes it's weird symbols or a rune or a
Okay, wait. So just before you carry on, this is gibberish written in magical script.
This looks like a the language of magic isn't, again, like a English. It's not just a set of 26 characters that make an alphabet, right? It has some characters, some glyphs, some symbols, some geometrical things, some things that look like proper text. It's kind of a hodgepodge of different things that flow through you when you write magic, and you need the spell to decipher it into something meaningful, which it then sort of like locks in your brain as meaningful. So what you see here is gibberish that in theory could be a spell, but it looks a little bit off. So when you cast read magic, nothing happens and you don't see anything. But it doesn't quite look like a spell. But it could be, there's a bunch of spells that will decipher or obscure pages that you should be aware of. Like illusory script, is that it? Illusory. Maybe it's not called script. There's some spells that garble text. Illusionary script. There we go. So it could be something like that, or maybe it's needs another page that's layered on top of it, and then the two things come together to make a proper image. Or maybe there's like a missing ink that needs to be made to reappear that will complete the rest of everything. It's just sort of trash.
Okay, well, you don't have to tell me twice, Neil. I'll try and see through an illusion then, looking at the pages.
Oh, just like to disbelieve illusion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That should be an option if it's an illusionary script.
Yeah, right. You can just choose to believe that it means something to you.
Well, I get the idea that maybe it's an illusionary script spell, and that I'm not seeing the true text, so I'll try and sort of concentrate and hold on to that idea, and try and see through it. Would you like a save? Some description?
Unauthorized creatures glancing at the script must roll a saving throw versus spell. A successful save means they can look away with only a mild sense of disorientation. Failure means the creature is subject to a suggestion implanted in the script by the caster at the time of the illusionary script spell was cast. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead and give me a saving throw.
Success.
Excellent. You try to disbelieve the illusion, and sure enough, you disbelieve the illusion that this is illusory script, and you can confirm that there's no way this is anything other than proper text.
Okay.
Right? You're too smart. You wouldn't fall for an illusion like this. That's not how this works.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I'd have already noticed if that's what it was. I wouldn't be sitting here still trying to work it out. That's a good point. Okay, Thalius, when he came to the city I was living in, did I know anything about him? Or was he an unknown entity?
I don't think you were aware of him.
I'm trying to say, like, this text about him being a friend of the common man. Do I have any indication if that's true?
I don't think you have any indication. Like, that could just be putting it there so that if someone finds it, they're more likely to return it. Or maybe he really is a friend of the common man, but you're just from a different part of the world. And so if he's like noble number 75, you wouldn't have heard anything about him in particular, right? He's definitely not some all-powerful person that you would have been aware of.
Yeah, okay. There is on the last page where it has this inscription about him, there's a painting of him. How does the painting look?
Yes, it has a painting of the wizard Thalius, who looks just like the man that you manslaughtered.
What color are his robes?
Ooh. Just checking if I have any particular notes. He is a red-robed wizard in the picture. Yes.
So he could be a friend of the common man then. I was thinking, like, if he's got black robes on, he's not a good guy.
Red robe, like you, tend to be more research for the sake of research or magic for the sake of magic. But you could easily be a friend of the common man that way.
Yeah. No, for sure. All right, so I think I spent the last few hours of the evening looking into these things and looking through this garbled text and this basic passphrase. It's very strange. I guess I will, as I'm flicking through the pages, I'll try and say the word basic passphrase.
Excellent. It doesn't seem to have any effect, unfortunately. But it's worth trying.
Can I translate that into magic words or into another language? I don't think I speak any other languages. So...
Well, you're a level 4 wizard? 3 wizard?
Yeah, level 4.
why don't you give me an intelligence check to find the best way that you might be able to speak that, or the various ways you might be able to speak that in the language of magic.
32.
Excellent. Yeah, you can drum up the arcane words that have to do with secrecy and commonality or basicness, and string them together in a series of possible combinations, none of which really help you.
Have any impact at all.
Yeah.
And this this strong magic that I detect on the book when I use a detect magic, is it the book itself? Is it the cover? Is it the pages? Like, can I discern any particularity there or not?
Let's see. Why don't you give me another? I wrote that information back when you had just gotten the book, but you've now cast detect magic at a higher level, so it's possible you might be able to discern a class or something more about it.
Okay.
So give me a 1d10. You want a 4 or lower?
Yes.
Unfortunate.
Rolling good today.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think with that, then I will, close the books. I don't leave them out on the desk, obviously, just in case someone were to come into my room first thing in the morning. I take the time to put them back in the bottom of my bag, hide my bag away under the bed before, blowing out the light by which I'm sort of the candle, I guess, by which I'm reading these books, and will drift off to sleep for the evening.
Dreaming of spell books and arcane words and
and mysteries.
Excellent. Okay. Well, you go to sleep and morning will come fairly reliably. The weather has not gotten much better. The rain is dimmed a little bit, or not dimmed. What's the word? Gotten a little bit lighter, lightened a little bit, but it's still sort of, Londony outside, as they would say.
Yeah. Okay, well, I wake up in the morning, I retrieve my spellbook from my bag, I open that on the desk, and I will refill my spells that I've got to learn for the day. I know we don't usually talk about this, but since it's a solo session, I think it's important too. So I cast Alter Self, Detect Magic, and Read Magic yesterday. I'm going to refresh all of those spells. I've got my spell list. I'm keeping pretty solid track of this, so I have had a scare spell memorized for a while that I've not cast, and the components to cast that are rare. I only have limited components, so I'm not replacing that. That has been in my memory for probably about a month now, since since Autumn gave me the I think it was like skeletal fingers, like from Undead.
Right.
To be able to cast it. So I think I've got 5 castings of that. Let me just check that. I do have that written down somewhere. 4. I've got 4 castings of Scare left. So that's still on my spell list. Left over from yesterday. So I've been in the city for a few days, so I have more of a exploratory spell list. So level 1, I've got Detect Magic, Read Magic, 2 castings of Sleep, and 1 casting of Unseen Servant. And then at level 2, I've got Blur, Darkness, 15-foot radius, Scare, and Alter Self.
Okay.
And once my spells are learned, so that probably takes me about 40 minutes in the morning, I will make sure to retrieve my dark cloak that Ren had gotten for me from my wardrobe.
Right, a really nice one.
Yeah, which I will pull over my shoulder. So I actually have some really nice red robes now that I bought. If you remember, they've got kind of shadowy markings on the shoulder. So it's kind of a dark red with black. So it's less immediately obvious as red robes, but it still
and
is
certainly
obvious.
Not indicative of your progression from a red robed mage to a black robed mage, right? Just short of.
Well, you're welcome you're welcome to infer what you like from that, but I've said no such thing.
Got it.
But yeah, that is a good point. I've not managed to dip my fingers in blood magic just yet, but I did note that I don't know if anyone else picked up on this, but the black-robed wizard that led the caravan had a cage full of chickens next to him on the front of his caravan, and that is for upcasting spells by sacrificing chickens.
Yes. Now,
as a black mage.
red-robed wizards can do that for investigative divination type spells. So
Enchantments
if you
and
wanted,
divination.
yeah, you could get a chicken or a cat or a dog or something like that and sacrifice it while casting detect magic to cast it as if you were one level higher. If you wanted another roll on that opportunity,
that's very true.
then there would be 50%
yeah, that's
chance.
a good point. This has actually just reminded me. Have I not got the spellbook from that black mage? I'm not saying that I've deciphered any of the spells in it yet, but I probably have his book.
Yes, I do believe you have the book.
Okay, I'm not going to waste this month of downtime reading those spells. But I think I might, at the end of the session, if we've got some time left, just say, I'm going to take, a few days to go through this, so maybe next time we play.
I have their spellbook ready for you. It's fully ready.
You do?
Yes,
okay,
I do.
Okay. Well, in that case, it's been
I
maybe
can just hand it to you
day.
now. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, okay.
We can say you spend 5 days reading detect magic, whatever.
Okay, let's hit me up.
Yeah. Let's see. Goes to Arachis and Pierre. I don't know if you can figure out how to do it, Pierre, but you can open the spellbook. Show it to the viewers. It is...
I can read out what's on it. It's all right.
Okay. I put it in the player characters section for you. It's just called Cart Master. Maybe we'll change to Cart Master's spellbook.
Yeah, okay. So let's have a little look on here. There's some decent looking spells. Looks like he was a level 5 wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there is... Wait, I need to remind myself. What spells can I not cast here?
He has the most important spell of them all. He's
got a really good
Aldrich's Discriminating Door.
Oh, that's not the one that I was thinking about.
That's the most important one!
It's Evocation Abjuration I can't do. So he has Armor, which is a conjuration spell and would be just so useful for me because I have so many level 1 spell slots.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really nice. Cantrip, Detect Magic I've got. Hypnotism is enchantment as well, so Hypnotism could be okay. Magic Missile, Read Magic. Shocking Grasp is... No, that's Alteration, so I could get Shocking Grasp. That would also be good for my Spectral Hand, but I am limited on level 1 spells. So that could be a problem. He's got Sleep and Spook, which I've got. Displace Self, that's a good one for me. That's definitely a shadow spell. Knock is Alteration. He's got Magic Lantern, Strength, Web, Wall of Gloom, which I failed to learn this level already. And then Hold Person, Secret Page, Clairaudience, and Discriminating Door at level 3.
Right.
The only one there that's... Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say that those are... You can't cast 3rd level spells yet, so you wouldn't know exactly what their contents are or how they work, but you could read their names. Yeah.
Yeah, so my maximum spells per level is 11. And I have currently 11 level 1 spells, so I can't learn this armor spell without researching it. So sadly, that is off the cards. Unfortunately, that would be really useful. But okay, so I have his spellbook now. At least I've got 3 spellbooks. Is there some empty pages in it at least?
In the Cartmaster spellbook?
Yeah,
I think so.
So that's something,
Plus 7 plus 4 times. There should be a few. I'll roll some math later, but there are no more than 15 empty pages.
Okay, all right, fine. Okay, so I'm now think I've got 3 things that I want to do today. I want to buy a Lightstone. I want to go and observe the manor, Dockin Manor, or at least find it. And thirdly, I want to try and find something that I can sacrifice to cast Detect Magic on the book.
Well, you can go buy chicken from the market for like a copper.
It gets me a +1, right?
Yep.
Which is then a 50% chance. It's not bad. What would I have to get a better bonus than that?
Let's see. In order to get a better bonus, you would need a dog, pig, goat, or sheep. That usually will cost you about 25 gold.
Okay, well, I can't afford
And that'll
goat.
get you cast at 2 levels. Yeah.
Okay, so I think the first thing that I'm going to do is when I finish my breakfast down...
You can also just draw D4 HP of your own blood to cast. You can just split your hand open and use your personal blood to channel the magic, but it does D4 damage to you.
But would that give me a +1?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to do it for free.
Okay. And what if I kill a person? How much is that?
A human, elf, goblin, or less than 6 hit die intelligent humanoid is +4 levels.
So a goblin is good.
Yeah.
A goblin would be really good.
Yeah, if you could find a goblin and sacrifice them while you cast Detect Magic on the Spellbook, that'd give you an 80% chance of detecting what sorts of spells might be on here.
The act of doing this, is it just a case of like cutting their throat while you cast a spell? It's not like some sort of big ritual.
Right. You're going to need them to be more or less, like immobilized so that you can properly draw out their blood in the process of casting the spell. And the idea is that life is made up of magic, of positive energy plane magic. And so if you can properly channel that magical energy while killing them. So it's a little bit more than just slitting their throat. There is a little bit of like spooky waving of the hands and slicing of the throat. But it doesn't take like huge setup.
Yeah.
Once you start getting to higher and more powerful things, then you need a more complicated thing. But for 1 level, you just cut your hand. For 2 levels, you can sacrifice a donkey or a goat. At a human, they need to be like pinned to something so they don't resist, and you need maybe a round to do it. By the time you're doing like basilisks and pegasuses, it takes a little longer.
So if I were to cast sleep on a human, that in itself wouldn't be enough to sacrifice them effectively.
No, that would be... Yeah, you'd probably want to sleep them and then restrain
and tie
them
up. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't want them to flail around and interrupt your casting. And you might need to let the blood flow for a moment.
If it was casting sleep on a dog, though, we'd probably be able to just do that quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know the benefits of sacrifice. So yeah, I pull my cloak over my shoulders, I pull my hood up, and I head out into the rain of the city. And I'm going to head to the main boulevard where the magic shop is. And when I get near the shop, I want to go off the main boulevard into some of the side streets. And I'd like to find like a... not somebody who looks like really, really, really homeless. But somebody who looks like they could do with making a few coins.
Okay, let's see. You want to find the like equivalent of a day laborer, like a common laborer who works like hand to mouth.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm imagining that like there might be people looking for work on the sides of the streets.
Yeah, it's a common thing just to be a person who sells their labor for whatever someone needs. And if they need you to move stones for a couple days, you move stones. If they need you to dig up a garden, you dig up a garden, right? That's a thing. You can find a kind of like a sad little tavern tucked away in one of these alleys with kind of dingy lights, and the floor has been sunken down. And so when it rains, like water flows into the tavern and gets the floors there wet. But the rent is cheap, so the drinks are cheap. It's not a great environment, but it is sort of the lower working classes man's kind of hangout. And there's a bunch of people inside and a few people out in the alleyway with wooden tankards of ale in their hands. And when they see you walking by, they'll kind of look up from what they're doing, giving you the eye contact of like, do you need something? Do you need some work?
I walk past them, ignoring them, and I open the door into the tavern. And as the door opens, I look back at these men, and the closest one to me, I sort of give him like a come hither finger, and then I go back. I go into the tavern and go and sit down in a corner with my hood up.
Yeah, excellent. The person will. If there's like a group of them, did you gesture to the whole group, or do you specifically call out
one specific one? Yeah, I point directly at one guy and make eye contact with him.
Great. That one person will follow you into the tavern. The door will shut outside, leaving the sounds of rain behind for the most part. It's kind of quiet in here. The door chimes as people come in and out. Some little fire going. There's a bit of standing water on the ground that you kind of splash through as you get to your table. Things are a little damp. There's not great lighting. The hearth provides most of the lighting, and you can see that instead of like nicely chopped firewood, it's sort of whatever pieces of boards and broken tables and chairs they've like pulled off the streets that they're burning to fuel the fire here.
Nice. Okay, I like it. So I'm looking creepy in the corner of the room, Neil. I've got my hood up. I'm in the darkest corner. I'm clearly a wizard. And I wait there, and my eyes lock on this guy as he comes into the room.
Oh, yeah.
He looks around. He sees me, and it's he knows who I am. He comes over. I think. I assume.
He definitely comes on over, and he straightens his shirt a little bit and stands before you. Clears his voice. Greetings, my lord. Is there something I could do for you?
Please take a seat. I whisper.
Excellent. He'll take a seat. I'll have you know my rates are no less than 1.5 silvers a day.
Well, don't worry, friend. I can give you 5 silver for but an hour's work. I pull out a a sack, basically like a small bag, and I put it down on the table in front of me. In this sack, is 10 gold pieces. And I say to him, do you know the magic shop on the main street near here?
I do.
I need you to go in there and use this gold, and I push the sack over to him, to procure a lightstone.
That seems fairly mundane.
Yes, and I shall pay you 5 silver for the privilege.
He does a quick glance around the tavern, just seeing if there's something else going on here. That's it. Just go into the store and buy the stone.
That's correct.
I can tell the shopkeeper I want a lightstone, and they'll know what that
Just
means.
Tell him you want a lightstone. He'll know. Make no mention of me.
And then just bring it here to you.
And just bring it here. Yes, you can place it inside the sack that you're carrying the gold in, so as not to make a scene when you enter.
Right, and he'll
when you
reach
return,
out for the.
I'll give you your silver.
Okay. Yeah, you have the sack of gold before you, which he will.
Yep.
Reach and take. He'll open it and count to see how many coins are in there before he goes out. And this is enough to cover it.
This is exactly what it should cost. Oh, before you go, give me your hand.
He holds out. He goes to hold out his right hand and then puts the sack in his right hand and holds out his left hand.
I take his hand in both of mine, and I turn it over a few times in my hand, like I'm expecting his forearm and his hand. I kind of trace the lines across his hand a little bit, and eventually I will pluck like a hair from from his arm, basically, and then I'll give him a nod and put that into a pocket. I'll see you shortly.
Aye, my lord. Aye. With a little awkwardness and hesitation, he will go out towards the door, step outside, and through one of the, oily, dingy, slightly cracked windows, you can see him shake it off and pull his coat slightly tighter around him. And his friends who are out there drinking with him give him a wave, and he just shakes his head and hurries through the dripping rain outside.
Okay, I guess I will order a drink while I wait for him and just look spooky in the corner.
Yeah. Someone will come by, give you a drink, not ask any questions. Generally, you feel the cold shoulders of everyone, no one wanting to get involved with whoever this figure is, but also
absolutely
not going to try and stop you.
That's what I'm trying to get across, Healthy dose of fear.
45 minutes later, our friend, our nameless fellow, comes back in, heads right over towards you, and sets the stone down. And as he sets it down, the top of the bag opens just a little bit, because the bags aren't airtight or watertight, but it has the As he releases the bag on the table, you can see beams of light shining straight out of it, illuminating the ceiling, the area
I
around
immediately grab the bag,
you.
like closing the light, and then pocket. Like I pull the cords tight on the bag and put it in my like inside my robes, and I say, "Very good, thank you." Did it cost the gold? I said.
10 gold pieces, sir.
I consider him for a second as he says that. Make sure that
I
he's
swear?
not lying that he didn't get it. Very well. I reach into a pocket and hand him 5 silver.
He looks at the silver. It's 5. He can count to 5. Closes his hand. Was there anything else I can do for you?
I'm just adjusting my gold. I stay silent for a minute, and I think, and I say, I don't suppose you know where Salamander Lane is, do you?
Aye, sir. I do. It's in the inner city, just along the wall. If you go in through the main street where the shop was located, and take your very first left, Salamander Lane runs along the section of the wall on the inside. I helped build a wall there, a little garden wall there for a house.
Good. Thank you. I think to myself, is there like a guard checkpoint to get into the inner city?
There is. Yeah. That's where all the temples are. That's where MrMouton went. And there are like old arcane ruins along the walls that through the guardhouses that would go into the inner city. There was a lot of suspicion last time we were here that those might have like anti-magic wards or something.
Did we get to the bottom of that? That I can't remember if I tried the altar self to get through there or not. I think I did, right?
No, you never went through, but you were going to give someone something with moon glow on them to walk through.
Oh, to test it, yeah, and it was fine, wasn't it? We did do that.
I have to check my notes. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah. Yeah. It remained, the coin that you cast Moonglow on remained unchanged, or remained enchanted after passing through the gates.
Yeah, so my thinking is that they're probably anti-invisibility runes and not anti-magic runes. And in that case, Altar Self probably should work because it isn't even an illusion, I don't think. It's, just checking. Yeah, it's alteration. It's not an illusion. So even if it was an illusionary dispelling thing, it should still be fine.
What's the point of anti-invisibility if Alter Self, which is a lower level spell, would allow someone to get through there?
Well, it's the same level spell. They're both second level, and Alter Self is a shorter like cast period, right? I would say invisibility is more of an obvious like, I don't know, like an obvious deceptive spell than Alter Self. But both Moonglow and Alter Self are alteration. So I feel like that would work. But anyway, I thank the man for his, I say, thank you for your work. Maybe I'll come back and acquire your services again in the future. And then I kind of wave him away.
He went to shake your hand or reach out a hand, but you wave him off, and he goes for the front door when the bartender calls him over, and he walks over to the bartender, and there's a quiet exchange. You can see the guy pulling out 3 of his silver coins and setting them on the bar before heading back out.
That's interesting. I guess he owes him money for the tab or something. I watch the bartender as he picks those coins up. Does he look at me?
No, he very pointedly just takes the 3 coins and pockets them, and then just kind of around to see if anyone needs a drink. But very, as he scans the room, his scan goes over you fairly quickly to the rest of the room.
Yeah. Okay. Adding my lightstone to my character sheet. Fantastic. Okay.
So what's the plan?
Yeah, well, I'm going to try and do this.
I see you're doing things.
Yeah, I'm going to try and do this detect magic with the sacrifice next before I risk trying to get into the inner city. So I will leave, like, I drink my drink, I get up and I pull my cloak back around my shoulders and I head back out into the rain and head to the market basically or something.
Yep. You can head to the market, and there's not much going on in the market square right now. Like, it's open and it's working, but it's sort of like rainy. So, unless you have to go to the market today, people are opting to wait until a nicer day.
That's fine. I just look for a chicken in a cage.
Yep. You can buy a chicken. It's a copper. GG.
So cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I head back to my room. Wait, no.
No.
I buy some sheets or towels as well.
Like rags do?
Yeah, rags will do. Just something
nice?
so that I don't get blood all over the floor of the inn.
Yeah, you can get another 3 copper for some discarded, disused rags for just this purpose.
Perfect. Okay. So that's a total of 4 copper, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I head back to my room with my chicken, trying not to draw too much attention to myself.
You got a chicken under your arm, which is not uncommon in the city. It's a little uncommon for a patron of an inn to bring a chicken into their room, but who's to judge?
Who's asking questions?
No one's asking questions. It's just a bit of a weird thing. Not unreasonable.
Yeah.
But...
Well, I head back to my room and I close and lock the door behind me, placing the key into the pockets of my robe. And I throw the rags down onto the floor. And is the chicken in a cage, or am I just carrying it?
Oh, you're just carrying it. Yeah, you don't get the cage for a copper.
Okay, I let the chicken loose in the room for a second while I take my
flaps its wings.
I take my backpack off and pull out Thalius's spellbook from the bottom of the bag.
The chicken settles onto a chair.
Nice. I open the spellbook and prop it up on the desk so that I can see it, and then I draw my Chris.
Well, before we get to the sacrifice, you say the spellbook is open,
Yeah.
To the middle, to a page that you can't read.
To the first
very
page
first
with the rune. Yeah.
Excellent.
And then I grab the chicken by the head. Or no, I grab it by the feet and I turn it upside down.
Mm-hmm. It flutters around. It squawks. Its wings flap.
Standing over the robes, the rags on the floor, so as to not make a mess, I start to enchant. What's the word? Incant. The words of the detect magic spell. And as I get to the crucial part of the spell, whenever that is, I cut the throat of the chicken and let its blood drain out into the rags. And I guess probably get some on my hands and trace some patterns in the air with bloodied fingers.
Yes, excellent. The blood seeps out. The chicken is dead. The spell is cast. You are now casting detect magic as if you were 5th level. Please roll me a 1d10, and you want a 5 or lower.
All right. Take 2. Nice. Nailed it. Because of the chicken as well.
Because of the chicken. You can see that your initial impression was slightly misguided. There is indeed magic on this spellbook. The cover and all of the pages have an abjuration spell placed on them that is moderate in power. And deeper within the spellbook, there is another type of magic. But I'll need you to roll me a d10 to see if you can identify the other type of magic deeper in the spellbook.
If only I'd bought a second chicken.
No, you're still at level higher.
Oh, right, it's because the spell is still going. Yeah.
Right.
Ah, fuck.
No. But there is a second spell, or a second aura, or a second magical effect happening on all those pages that are gibberish.
Oh, okay. Okay, now that I've failed that at 5th level, How does that work
Mhm.
for like trying again?
When you can cast it at 6th level, you can try again.
Right. So even if I cast it at 4th level, it won't work. Even if I level up, it won't work. I'd need another
If you
chicken.
level up to 5th, you'll need another chicken at 5th level.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm no expert in abjuration magic. Could I theorize as to a typical abjuration spell that might be on a spellbook?
Something that's on the cover and the pages.
Could it be some sort of protection spell, like a warding spell against water or something, maybe?
It could be a warding spell that will keep the pages from getting like soaked and ruined, or maybe that makes them a little bit more fire resistant. Or if it's a really good spell that will do multiple things like that, that'll give them resistance to water and fire of some kind. That's very likely if it's on every page and the covers.
Yeah.
If it were some sort of defensive spell, then you would have expected
it.
to trigger it, right?
Yeah.
It could be some sort of.
It's not going to be like a detection thing because that would be divination. If it was like being able to track the spellbook
or enchantment, maybe.
Yeah.
And that might also be on a specific thing, like on a gem in the book, or it would just maybe be on the cover of the book. Maybe on all the pages. Hard to know exactly how it might go down.
Okay. So I think I'm going to assume that the abjuration spell is some sort of protection spell. I mean, it is a traveling spell book, so it would make sense that this spell book would have something like that because he might expect it to get wet or burnt or something like that. Whereas his main spell books, they keeps in his tower or wherever. They're going to be safe from that kind of thing. But the second aura of gibberish is interesting. I am now thinking that the fastest way to identify that is going to be with a better sacrifice. Because waiting till next level and then trying with another chicken, yeah, that's possible. But if I could just get a goblin or something, I could do it at 80%.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing is to try and get into the center of the city to get a look at this guy's house. Now, I can turn into an Aarakocra and fly over the walls of the inner city, although that's likely to get me killed, I would think.
That might attract some attention.
Yeah. So, I pack my stuff back up. I stand up with my bag packed, and I look at the dead chicken and the pile of bloodied rags on the floor. I collect the blood from the rags and take a look at the flick. Is the floor damaged?
Nope.
Have I got a window?
In your room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it look out onto?
Just onto the street.
Like an
Part of the
alleyway,
main...
or like the main street?
Let's see. 1 in 4 chance it's the main street. Actually, 2 in 4 chance it's the main street. So 1d4. It is the main, the larger of the streets, because you're kind of at an intersection between two. So you're on your window looks out onto the biggest adjacent street.
How bloodied are the rags?
They're... When you pick them up, you should be careful that the blood doesn't spill off of the rags before it completely soaks in. And you should probably move them before the blood soaks all the way through the rags onto the ground.
Is there there's like a waste bucket in here?
No.
No,
but
for like
you do
pissing
have...
and for like...
Oh, yeah.
Right.
There's a piss bucket, definitely.
Yeah, I throw them in there.
Yeah, perfect. Done.
Okay.
And the chicken, right?
No. Because I might be an evil shadow wizard, but I'm reticent to waste good food. So I will pick the chicken up by its legs and head down into the tavern. And I will go up to the bartender and I'll say, I have a chicken for the chef.
The bartender will take the chicken. Is there something special we should do with this?
I've heard that the chef here is a fine craftsman. and I'd like him to prepare this in the best way possible, according to his tastes.
The bartender blinks at you a few times. This is an unusual thing, but you're a guest, a paying guest in this tavern, who's been here a week or so, and you want people to come back. So you will take the chicken and say, right, of course, and head back into the tavern, back into the kitchen. And,
I hand him a silver coin. I say, for the chef.
I'll pass that along too. Okay. You'll get a delicious chicken a little bit later, cooked in tomato sauce with spices and cooked in a
nice
little oven that's buried deep underground, so it's nice and hot.
Great. I mean, yeah, I think that I'll be later tonight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I head back out into the street, pulling my hood back up, heading into the rain, and we'll walk towards the gate towards the inner city.
Okay. Back towards the inner city we head. There's the big ass wall in the inner city. It's nice and tall. There's no way you're going to climb over that or scale it without being seen by people all over the city. Anyone climbing those walls would be stupidly obvious. There is the large archway that goes from one to the other. There's not a ton of traffic on this sort of drizzly day, but there's a little bit of traffic going in each direction, and there are some guards that are checking people going into the inner city. They're not checking people going out of the inner city.
That was going to be my next question, because I only have one Alter Self spell.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could get back out without trouble.
Yeah. They don't really care who leaves. They care who comes in.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as I'm walking now, I stop when I get there. I'm watching it, and I'm gonna just have a little think, because I'm gonna need a cover story. I'm gonna need a reason why I'm going in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I have a reason. My friend is a priest, is looking after one of the temples.
Mm-hmm.
I have important information for him.
Mm-hmm.
Did I get from Ren the temple that he's going to be working at?
The Temple of Cheese.
That's right, the Temple of Cheese. So, who would visit the Temple of Cheese? Or I'm just another adventurer, maybe. I'm just trying to think what would be the best way to look to not raise any suspicion when saying that I'm going to visit my friend in the Temple of Cheese. I think just a generic kind of well turned out adventurer would be good. The issue I've got is that they're going to take weapons off me. And an adventurer with no weapons, I can't give them, because if I cast Alter Self, I think I can make it... I can change my equipment, but I couldn't give them a sword, because then it would...
No, right, if they touch you...
at some point.
Yeah, if they pat you down, also, they'll notice that if your equipment changes, that it's... Right.
Okay. Actually, are they patting people down?
There are some people who are obviously not being, they're wearing clothes that would make it impossible to hide things, and they don't get patted down. And there are some people who come and will take off their sword and hand it to the guards, and the guards will just give them a quick pat down, or open their bag and look through their bag really quick. They're doing a pretty good job of making sure there's nothing being snuck into the city that maybe they wouldn't want there. They are going through bags. They are checking people who look like they could be dangerous or scary.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna not go through today. What I'm gonna do instead is, I'm gonna go to somewhere where you would send a message. Find a guy to send a message to someone. I'm just gonna go in there and make idle conversation. Hello, I'm looking to send a message to the inner city. Is that a service you offer?
Hold on, can you repeat that? Sorry, I was distracted by something.
No worries. Yeah, so I find a place where I could, a messenger service. Yeah, and I go in, and I knock on the door, I go in. They say probably, welcome.
Yeah, welcome to...
Yeah. I'm interested in sending a message to the inner city. Is that a service you offer here?
Of course it is. Tell me who it's to and what it says, and we'll deliver it today, guaranteed. Or your money's back.
What is the fee?
For delivering a message?
Yes.
Well, is it a verbal message, a written message, a package? Is it dangerous? Does it bite? And to whom does it go? All of these things will change the cost slightly.
It is a written message, not to be read by the messenger. Its seal should remain intact, and it's to be delivered to a temple in the inner city.
To a particular priest or priestess? Cleric? High cleric?
Yes. A priest.
He checks his economics sheets. His services, a messenger in an intra-city, 10 copper, he says. Silver piece to deliver the message. We have stationery that you can buy if you don't have it on you.
Yes, please. That would be of most use.
Yep, they will lead you to stationery where they'll charge you another 2 silver to write out whatever little message that you need on a scrap of parchment. Actually, on a scrap of papyrus.
I write a note, I scribble down some nonsense. Make sure I'm not being watched. I fold it up into like a little, into a tube. And I say, I'll need a seal.
Yep, they'll come over and they'll pour some little ink on there, and they'll just use their own personal messenger service seal that they'll stamp on it for you. With a little piece of fabric across, so you can use that to rip the seal off easily.
I go to hand it to the guy, and as he reaches his hand out, I pull it back. And I say, you'll have to excuse me. I'm suspicious by nature. I'd like to have a word with the messenger himself, if possible.
Of course. And the guy will lean back, poke his head through a door behind him, and call for... Tiburn! Tiburn! Up! Tiburn's up! And a young boy will come on out. Maybe a young man, I should say, will come on out. Maybe 19 years old, wearing sandals and a light toga.
I pay careful attention to what he's. I pay careful attention to what he's wearing.
Yeah, he looks, nice. He looks like a messenger. He's just got like a simple white toga with a little golden colored belt and some sandals. His hair's short. The toga only comes down to halfway down his thigh. Like between his hip and his knee, part way. Loose. He doesn't have anything else on him. He looks between the main person here and you.
I look him up and down carefully. And then I look back at the man I've been speaking to with a concerned look on my face. And I say, this whelp has barely left the breast. I can't trust a child like this with such information.
Well, I don't know what your message says, my lord, but I assure you we service many customers per day. We have little interest in the contents of message, only that they get to the right place at the right time. Why else would you come to Mercury's messenger service? The finest messengers in all of Holy City Emberstone. This man is young, but he's fleet of foot. He'll get it to the right place. He knows every temple in the inner city. Which temple are you heading to?
I narrow my eyes at him. And I say, I paid you for the note. I'm going to reconsider my options.
Of course. When you need a messenger service, whether it's within Holy City Emberstone or without, come on by to Mercury's messenger service, and we will get your letter where it needs to go faster than anyone else. Safer than anyone else.
Mercury messenger service. Okay. I pull my hood up and walk out of the shop.
You paid the 2 silver for the...
Yeah, I paid the 2 silver, yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, I head back to where the gate is, and I look for, an alley nearby that would be secluded.
Yeah, you can find a secluded spot near the gate. Nearish the gate, a couple blocks away.
Yes, and I will, looking over my shoulder to make sure that I'm not being seen, will cast Alter Self and turn into... I can't turn into a specific person, but I'll turn into a young boy dressed in the toga with the belt buckle and attempt to look like one of these messengers.
Right. And like we've mentioned before, just to reiterate for everyone, when you alter self, you're not going to necessarily change your face to look like someone else's face, right? It's similar to
No.
Grau when he goes between orc and human and gnome form. It's still like Grau's face, but Grau's face in an orc form or a human form or a gnome form. So when you alter yourself down to a younger boyish looking person, your face is still sort of Arachis, but you no longer, I think you can change your height by 20% or something, 10%
50%.
per level. Yeah.
It's up to 50%, and I think I can change my hairstyle and things.
You can definitely change your hairstyle, right? But like the face isn't going to
Skin.
all of a sudden become
Okay.
like, 18 hotness when if you're normally 7
that's
or whatever.
fine. But I will have short blonde hair and a pale complexion. The opposite
Blonde
to
hair.
Arachis, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Blonde hair, pale complexion, smaller in size, wearing whatever it is that you're going to be wearing. You will absolutely look different. Yeah.
Yeah. And when the spell is cast, looking around me, I will, head over to the gate.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. There's the gate. There's the guards. What do you have on you?
I wait to be addressed. I think I've got a small, No, I don't think I've got anything. I think I'm just holding the note.
What about your Chris? Where's that?
Oh right, okay, wait. So I've got to stash that somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've slightly done that wrong. I need to go and stash my gear before casting the spell. Then
You can just leave it in an alley underneath a box somewhere.
I could do that.
Who's gonna find a random dagger stuffed under a box in an alleyway? You're not
Well, no,
gonna be gone all day.
I need to hide my whole backpack, really.
Okay.
Thinking about this now, if we don't want to retcon that, which is fair enough, I think I will, as I cast the spell and realize that I'm still holding my Chris in my bag. I think that Arachis would have known this, but I'll just retry this tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can relearn
Well, you
the
could just
spell.
do it tomorrow. One way or the
Yeah.
other, it'll be fine.
I don't want to take anything for granted here, so I will wait for the spell to dissipate and then head back to the inn.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll
because your backpack has like the sand mirror in it.
It's got all sorts of shit in it.
a
I mean, if they open that
battle
backpack
axe. Oh yeah,
and spell books, like if they find that, they're going to be very fucking
Right.
suspicious. So that
Okay.
can't be allowed to happen.
So you'll come back the next day. You're still going to be wearing the red robes, and it's just going to be the note and your red robes and your shoes. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
What about your cool staff?
I need
You
my
got a
spell
cool wizard
components
staff,
when I
don't
get
you?
over there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a cool wizard stuff. Okay, so that night I'm thinking, because I need to get my components into there. It's not enough just to get through the gate. Well, it's enough to get through the gate to go and spy on them. But if I actually want to get something done, then I would have to have my gear while I'm over there, which is more difficult to achieve, really. I am... Because they're definitely checking bags, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you said cursory checks?
Like they open the bag and they'll move things around in it. You don't know what they're looking for. They may not care if you bring in spell components.
What if, like, so if I've got my spell components under my robe, and then I cast the altar self, are they still there? And if I get patted down, they would feel that I've got stuff under my
everything
toga.
is still physically there, 100%.
That's worrying. So if I try and be a messenger and get found with spell components on me, then I'm in trouble. The better thing to do is maybe disguise myself as just a different wizard, and hope that the guards, they're not going to know the difference between what a white-robed wizard would have and and me.
That's true. Now, the guards probably don't know, but if somehow, somewhere, some other wizard realized that you were changing your robes to disguise yourself, that got back to the greater wizarding industry and culture, that would be a black mark on you, to the point that they would need to intervene in some way, shape, or form. It's a very tight social protocol. sort of linked. Like if you're a private in the army and you put on like a general's stars, you're gonna get in some serious fucking trouble, even if it's just like a joke. They're gonna come after you, and you'll get some shit going down.
Yeah, I
There's
think that
not
maybe
a physical or magical thing that holds you to those red robes, but there's a very strict social order around that.
it could just be a red-robed wizard that looks different.
Yeah,
That
it's a common type
is
of wizard.
probably enough to get through.
Yeah.
Wondering if having the note sealed by the messenger service would be weird if I wasn't a messenger.
hmm
But you might go there to write the note, right? Like if you needed paper and wax
hmm
seal, you could just go
hmm
there and pay them the silver to write that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I I spend the night looking at this guy's spellbook, and we'll waste away the rest of the day, I think.
All right. The next day, we go back.
Yeah,
You leave your stuff
next day.
behind. Everything's
Yeah,
left
so
behind except for your spell components and the letter.
I take no. I empty out my bag
Mm.
and I have my spell components on my body like usual.
Mm-hmm.
I will leave Thalius's spellbook in this room.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave the Black Wizard's spellbook in this room.
Mm-hmm.
I'll carry only my spellbook. So I leave the 3 spellbooks that
Mhm.
I've taken from dead wizards here, but I bring my
Got it.
spellbook. I have my
Okay.
spell components on me. I will leave my staff here,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I'll bring my Chris with me.
What about things like a watering skin and a journal and your bedroll and your rations?
Yeah,
Your
anything that's like
torches.
normal traveling gear, that's what I'm putting
Mhm.
at the top of the bag. So what I want is for him to open it and see a bunch of traveling shit. Like this
Okay.
person's
Does
an
that mean the
adventurer.
sand mirror is still in the bag?
The
Or are you
sand
leaving that
mirror.
in the?
I think I leave that in the bag. Yeah, they don't know what that is.
Okay.
That's fine. I leave the battle axe here as well.
Mm-hmm. What's this?
But my
5% of Kingdom IOU.
fuck, I can't remember now.
Does someone
No,
owe
I
you
think
5%
I
of a
think
kingdom?
I think Ren owes me 5% of his kingdom. Yeah, for
Nice.
the dagger. Yeah, I think that's what that is. Okay, so I leave my shit in this room under the bed. So the staff, the stolen spell books, the axe, basically everything else, I bundle in. The mirror and my spell book I put at the bottom of the bag, and then on top
Mm-hmm.
I put like my journal, the bedroll, my rations,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the water skin, my
Oh yeah.
cloak. No, I'm wearing my cloak. The torch, yeah. Okay, and then I head back out into the street, back to the same alley. And this time I cast Alter Self, and I will make myself the same young man with a pale complexion and blonde hair, but I'm
Mhm.
not changing my robes.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I just, if it needs to be said, I check to make sure that there's no windows above me, that no one else is in the alley with me when I cast this.
Yeah. That's probably fine, right? That would just.
I mean, it's not
Why
going to
don't
be
you
obvious
roll
anyway.
that
'cause
d20 you picked up yesterday, and we'll see if it works.
No, thanks.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I mean, anyway, either way, like, my form isn't changing too much. I've got my hood up. It's just like my face and skin color changing, so you'd have to be looking
Right.
very closely to notice.
Right. And what sort of guard would look closely to notice something?
Well, no, I'm saying somebody in the alley would have to be looking closely to
I see.
notice.
Right.
There's no guards looking. I definitely wouldn't do it if there was a guard nearby.
Perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
someone would have to be watching you cast. They would have to hear the sounds of magic and poke their head out a window and see a magic spell being cast and then you changing slightly. And then they would have to care enough to tell someone.
Yeah, they might notice me cast a spell. I doubt they would notice that I was changing slightly. Because they'd be above
You're
me
just
and
a
I'd put my hood up.
paranoid wizard, right? This is not even a big deal.
True, yeah. Well, maybe I'm a paranoid player. So I head out of the alley towards the gate.
Mhm.
And I walk up to the guard with confidence. And I have my letter in my right hand. And in my left hand, I have my Chris, which
Mhm.
I'm holding by the blade, kind of like holding it out to be taken as I go
What's
up to the guard.
duration of Alter Self?
Yeah, it's long enough. It's 3d4 rounds plus 2 rounds per level.
So you can wait until it looks like the wait time is like less than 5 minutes.
Yes,
to get through the gate.
Sorry, yeah. If there's a queue, I will wait. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. You walk up. There's the guards. They've got their banded mail. They've got spears. They've got shields. The one in front who's dealing with people, he just has like an arming sword at his side and has some half plate on. A red feather coming out of the crest in his hat. Nice heavy armor. Old symbols emblazoned upon it. It's an ancestral position that has existed here guarding these gates probably for thousands of years. He's one of a long line of warriors, defenders of the inner city. As you approach
him, I sort of like offer my blade to him.
He'll take it and just hand it to someone and take a wooden chit from them and just hand you the wooden chit.
I take it like I expected this to happen. I pocket it in my robes, and I'll say, I'm visiting a friend of mine. He's taking care of the Temple of Chis. His name is Renatus Fur.
Bag?
I take my backpack off and hand it to him.
He starts lifting things up, moving things around, sighs and like sets it on the ground and goes through everything, lifting it all the way down to the bottom. He'll pull out the sand mirror. He'll pull out the torch and give it a smell and kind of put it back in the area with a little oil rag over it.
If he takes the mirror out, I'll say, please be careful with that.
Yeah, he lifts it up. He turns it over. It just looks like a mirror to him. Just a
it looks like
piece of
it's
metal.
finely made, though, I would imagine.
It is finely made, but it's just a nice fancy mirror. He looks at it a few times, looks at you.
Yeah, wizard has
magical
magic mirrors. So what? I look over my shoulder and I nod.
He shoves it back in the bag, kind of haphazardly. Picks it up, hands you the bag, and then gives you a quick pat down. He'll feel your spell components, right? And he'll ask to take a look in them to see what components there are.
Yeah.
You don't have components for
too
fireball or lightning bolt or
sleep. So I have some. My components are very, very mundane. I've got some sand for sleep. Unseen servant. What's this? A piece of string.
No. Yeah, you don't have any spells of whose components you would care about.
Skeletal fingers is the only one.
No, doesn't care. Moves on.
Bother. All right.
Doesn't bother. Yep, he just looks through all of your components real quick, and then just waves you on through.
Great. I head into the city and try and get out of line of sight of guards as soon as possible.
All right. And this is where we're going to take our first break. We'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes with a little bit more Outcasts.
All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Outcasts. So here you are in the inner city, looking for the very house that is putting a wanted poster out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're in.
Which maybe I need it, maybe I don't. So I did consider bringing it with me in case it's some sort of a key to get into the house, but it felt unlikely. Felt more likely like I'd get caught with the spellbook and get killed, so left that behind. My immediate concern is Alter Self running out, so I want to get out of view of people and wait for the spell to run out.
Yeah. Not too terribly difficult. The inner city is a little bit tighter. It's a little bit denser. There's not, a bunch of crappy alleyways all over the place. But with your hood and the fact that you're really just changing your hair color and your frame a little bit, it wouldn't be too hard to hunch over while tying a shoe with the hood up and then dismiss the spell and then stand up. Fine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if I can dismiss the spell, actually. Let me just check that.
Ooh. Some of these you can, some of these you can't.
Once the new form is chosen, it remains for the duration of the spell. Oh, the caster can change back into his own form at will. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah.
Perfect.
So I bend over to tie my shoes, like you said, and do that. And once I'm back to normal and I'm sort of safe from being too suspicious, I will, pull my hood back up. Is it still raining?
Nope. It's a nice day today.
Okay.
Somewhere
I
in the middle
will.
of October, the skies are clear. There's people out. There's a little market happening. You can see the big buildings that are like noble houses that must be 1,000 years old or 3,000 years old with glaze work that goes back ages. You know, the oak here has been sanded and polished and varnished a million times. Has little flowers and windowsills all over the place. It's just the epitome of an ageless, beautiful city. It must be what York looks like.
Yes, it probably is just like York. Okay, I will then follow the directions that my friend from the tavern gave me and head down to Salamander Lane.
Yeah, it's right there. You find it instantly.
Okay, and I walk up and down the street, looking at the houses, looking for like a little sign that says Draken Manor.
Yeah. You find Draken Manor after maybe 3 minutes. Like,
Sorry,
probably took you
Docken
longer
Manor.
to find Docken. Probably took you longer to find a spot to turn yourself back into Arachis than it did to take you to find Docken Manor. Salamander's Lane is not that long. It's maybe like 10 houses on either side and one house at the end. So you're just walking past these big buildings, appreciating them, looking at like, wow, that's really nice stonework. Okay. Oh, there's Docken Manor. Excellent. Yeah. Docken Manor has a little stone wall outside of it that, only comes to maybe chest high or so. You could easily hop it if you wanted. And inside is a little pretty garden. Beyond that is like an actual gated fence thing that leads to a different sort of garden. Beyond that is the main house itself. Rises up 3 stories. It's got 7 chimneys on it. Nice glasswork all over the place. No bars on the windows. I say it goes up 3 stories, but there is like a little tower that goes up 2 more stories on one corner of the house. A little circular place with a steepled roof. Probably wizard lives there, you think to yourself. That's probably a teleportation tower, something,
And do I see signs of life in this house?
Yeah, in the garden, the outermost garden, where it's just like that chest-high wall between you and it, there's 6 little kids hanging out, and there appears to be like 2 nursemaids watching these little children play. And then the garden beyond, where there's like the actual wrought iron fence, you can see there's a pair of gardeners working in it, and as well as 2, middle-aged people who are sitting in comfortable chairs that have been brought out with pads in them, sitting in the sun. One person with a book in their hands, another person with doing some knitting. They've got those like circles to keep the tension through the cloth that they're just like working on. Just enjoying a lovely autumn day.
Yeah. I'd like to observe the house, but I don't want to be like suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do that without being too suspicious, or is there like a bench I could sit on? In the street,
There's not
maybe?
a bench. But you could just continue walking slowly as a tourist does, observing this building and that building, and then maybe you could come and walk down the other side, in the other direction. You could probably get 3 minutes of observation time before it would begin to maybe draw someone's attention. Maybe.
I want to try and... Like, how big are the grounds of this house? Like, could I hop the wall and be in the grounds and not be seen?
The outer wall, you could hop it, but it's chest high. So if you hopped it and dropped down, people in the street wouldn't see you, but anyone inside looking out would probably be able to see you, unless you managed to find a spot, between some plants in the wall. But
I get the feeling that everyone's outside today. There's the 2 older people, there's the nursemaids, there's the gardener, there's all the kids. I feel like I can see most of the people who live in this house already. So I'm asking is there somewhere where I could hop the wall, like in the grounds away from the people that live there?
Let me build a better model in my brain for us here. So in the very top left of this map, I'm going to do a mini map.
Yeah.
Okay. So the gray, the lighter gray, is going to be our outer wall, and then the black is going to be our inner wall.
When you say inner, is there an inner wall, or is that just the wall of the house?
It's the gate, and then there's a house beyond.
Okay.
Which is why I'm trying to maybe give us a slightly
better
picture.
on the gate.
All right, so the yellow. Should we show the map? The yellow is going to be our road that you would just walk up and down, right?
Yep.
Perfect. The yellow is the road that we walk up and down. Then this gray line right here on the edge is the like chest high wall that you can look over, and then it's just sort of a grassy area where kids can play. There's a couple of plants and whatnot scattered around. Then the black is an actual proper like wrought iron gate that goes above the head with kind of spikes on the top, and you would need a door and a key to go through. And it's in here where there's like a more lush garden, and this is where the adults are hanging out, where it's a little bit more private and a little bit harder to disturb. And this is where all the real gardening happens. And then beyond this is the actual house. So you could hop this wall without any problem, but anyone would see you hopping it. And then on the inside, it's mostly open greenery area, so not a lot of cover. And then the gate is here in the middle of this wall, in the middle of this. The gate is in the middle of the gate. The doorway is in the middle of the gateway.
Yeah.
And at the moment, the gate is just open, probably because the kids are running in and out. And there's no guards, no soldiers of any kind. Except for the gardeners who have some shears.
It's open, and but it does look like it would lock, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
These gardeners, are they wandering around the outside of, like, the, between the black and the grey wall?
For the present moment, they're just on the inside of the black wall. They are pruning some large shrubs that are being grown in a way to like be a vase over here, or a ball over here, or like an animal shape over here. And they're just making sure that those little leaves that are growing aren't growing so far out to ruin the picturesque vase that they have.
Yeah. Yeah, and the gate is the fence that the gate is in. Is it a wall, or is it like bars that can be seen through?
Bars that can be seen through.
Okay,
that's how you can see the gardeners and the people on the inside.
There's nowhere on this street where I can just sit down and not be weird, like a wall that I could sit on, or
you could lean against a wall, but there's not a dedicated sitting spot here.
Is there a tavern or something on the road?
Yeah, if you leave Salamander Lane, you go down the opposite, the way that you came a little bit. Then the main route that leads through towards the very heart of the inner city has a very nice restaurant / tavern with outdoor seating that you could look down Salamander Lane.
But I wouldn't necessarily be able to see into the garden.
No, there'd be like other houses and stuff in the way.
Yeah,
you have to pay for drinks, pricey drinks.
Yeah, well, it's the cost of doing business. But I'm trying to work out what my goal is here. What I'd like to do is just get a look around the house, but there's no immediate value in that. It would just be sort of an exploratory thing. I'm thinking that a way I could do that is try and cast sleep on one of the gardeners and hope that they've got a key for that gate and I could take it, and then come in during the night.
But this, right now, at least during the daytime, there's other people around. Right? If you were to cast a spell right now, you'd instantly be spotted by the children and the nursemaids. And then that's just this house, not to mention like the other houses that are nearby, or someone who might be walking down or up Salamander Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get a good look at these gardeners?
Yeah.
Would I expect...
over here?
What do you want?
No, I'm making them in private.
Oh.
They are a pair of humans. They are both men. One of them is early 30s. One of them is late 40s.
I wouldn't expect, or would I expect these people to live in this house?
No, they probably commute in every day.
Yeah, they commute. Would their path leave, like, go via the tavern? Or is it too hard to tell if they, when they were leaving?
There are 3 ways in and out of the inner city, so you don't know which route it is that they would take out. Now, Salamander Lane happens to be right close to this main pathway. So this is probably the way out, unless like they live over here, in which case they'd like cut like that, right? So it depends on where they live in the outer city, but they do live right next to one of the gates. Or Dawkin Manor is right next to one of the gates.
Yeah. Alternatively, at night I could maybe fly over as an Arakara.
Mm-hmm.
Could I climb that gate? There's the inner gate. If no one was watching me.
You would have to make a climb check to do so. So it would not be guaranteed success.
Yeah. What would that climb check be? Can I estimate? Like, would it be difficult,
base chance as a non-thief is 40%. And let me take a look at what the modifiers are in the player's. It does not have abundant handholds. It's not a rope and a wall. It's not sloped inward. You're not wearing any armor. You don't have any racial penalties. You're not encumbered. I think it would just be a flat 40%. It's a really awkward thing to scramble up. You've got these like thin metal, like it's long rectangles, I suppose you would call them. And they're not that great to hold on to, and they're kind of decorative on the top, with a bunch of spikes up there, and the whole gate has that look of like it's solid, but if one person were to scramble, like maybe the gate would rock a little bit. Yeah. A rogue could probably do this no problem, but just an ordinary average person, about a 50-50 shot.
Well, if I head back towards the gate to leave, is there a spot somewhere that I can sit? There's got to be a bench on one of these roads somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere around here you can find a sitting spot. It just happens to not have one with a good view of the house.
What I'll try and do is take a seat. What time of day is this? I mean, it's early in the day, is it?
You tell me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not too early, like 1 or 2, something like that. I'm going to try and hang around and wait for these gardeners to walk past me. I know that's a bit of a long shot, but that's what I'm going to do today.
Yeah. So, nearing sundown, the sun is descending in the sky, maybe an hour or two, maybe 2 hours before it touches ground. You can see the pair of gardeners walking past. They've come down Salamander Lane. You're on the main stretch. You've just been sitting at a bench by yourself, taking in the sights, people walking by. Someone might have sat down next to you and said hello for a brief moment, but
that's fine. Yeah, I make conversation anyone that does that.
Yeah, it's just kind of a nice quiet day. I do want to make another check. Anyone else has maybe spotted you? Here you are. Part of the city, wanted posters around. No one's quite noticed you yet.
Plain view. Yeah.
Sitting in plain view. No one has yet noticed you, but at any moment, if someone does, the tone will change drastically. But for now, no one has. And yes, the man in his early 30s, the man in his late 40s, start heading towards the same gate you left through or entered through earlier.
They're together, are they?
They are together. They're chatting. They have a pair of... The older one has a pair of shears over his shoulder. The younger one is carrying a hoe and a rake.
Good. They're identifiable. I give them a minute after they pass me, and then I stand up and follow towards the gate to leave.
They walk out. The guards give them a wave. They give the guards a wave. Head out the main road.
Okay.
Hook a right.
Do I get out without being checked? That's what I'm kind of banking on. That's what I've been told is happening when people leave.
Yeah, totally. But you do have that little chit that you might want to turn in to get your Chris back.
Oh, fuck, yeah. Good point.
You don't have to. You could leave it behind.
It's just a useless dagger. There's no reason to risk it. Is it a different guard to the one that I gave the dagger to?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I give him it. I give him the thing.
Yep. That's a moment. Someone goes into the little warehouse nearby where they store everyone's stuff, and they come out with the dagger and hand it back to you.
Thank you. I leave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I try and find the gardeners on the street on the other side.
Yeah, you can hurry to catch up. You did give them a bit of a head start.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to run around, but the shears over their shoulders and the rake in hand make them stand out. So after a moment of losing them, I think you can catch them pretty easily.
All right, I intend to follow them. And if they split up, I'm going to follow the old one.
They don't split up. They go to the same place. It's probably a father and son combo, or maybe an older brother, younger brother, maybe cousins or something. They end up at a house over here-ish on the map, which doesn't really matter, but I'm going to put it in this bright fuchsia. End up somewhere over here. Yep, there's a house. It's like a 3-story building where, there's houses on either side of them. Row houses, I think you call them. And they go into the bottom floor. Terraced houses, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. Do they pass any obvious, shady areas of town getting there?
This isn't the nicest part of town. It's not the dirtiest, lowest down part of town, but also this is the part of town where people throw the refuse out their windows into the streets.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh. Trying to come up with a plan here. So just to speak meta-wise, part of me thinks that it's kind of silly to attempt to do any of this without Ren helping me.
Mm-hmm.
But, we are where we are. Maybe if I'm going to do something...
you could wait.
I could wait, yeah. But... need to make some progress. Okay, so I'm just going to sound out some ideas, as we do sometimes when we're playing one-on-one, Neil.
Mm-hmm.
I could knock on the door and then get my way inside and just kind of sleep them, basically. A way I could do that is maybe at night I could cast darkness in front of their door and then knock on the door, and then when I hear the door open, cast sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't be able to see me to interrupt my spell or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't be immediately obvious that there was a darkness spell cast until the door was opened and there was light coming from inside the house, because it would already be dark.
Mm-hmm.
That could work. And if the right one answers the door, and I do it now, or when the sun goes down, he might still have his key on him. Problem is, he's going to remember that happening to him. And that doesn't really give me much. What's the situation with changing locks? That in the modern day, if somebody stole the key to your house, you'd get the locks changed immediately. But how easy is that to do here?
Very expensive.
And
doable,
quick, or
deeply expensive. That's a great question. I don't think Arachis would know. Maybe if you were a rogue or a thief who was doing lockpicking, you might have a better idea. But you've never been a moneyed person who would ever have hired a locksmith before. So this is probably one of those areas of the social, of commerce that you're just deeply unfamiliar with.
Whew. Am I willing to kill these guys to get a key? Because killing them's
Makes
good.
you think they have a key?
Because they're the gardeners. I feel like they would have a key. Because they're going to have to get there, what if the family are, out or asleep or, doing something? They still need to be able to do their job. They need to be able to leave the house locked when they leave. I think the older man would have a key. Likely to be more trusted, right? If it's a father and son situation, he's going to be the one with the key. The son probably won't.
Well, Arachis, you manslaughtered Thalius to get the spellbook, Are you ready
true.
to murder his gardeners? Who are you?
I'm weighing up the options. Because there's like, I could kill them. I could try and blackmail them and get them to steal something for me from the house. But they might just go back and tell on me. I give them the chance to do that. I kill them. If I go in there and I sleep them, there's the added benefit that I could sacrifice one of them to cast Detect Magic on the book. Which would be a bonus.
You could pull the I'm the murderer of Thalius. If you don't do this thing, I will murder your son, and you know I'll do it because I've already committed murder.
Yeah, but you know, these are a rich family. They're going to have access to power. This guy might feel confident in. If I stay in his house with his son for the day, you know, say like make an excuse for your son, go into the house and steal something for me, but I don't know what I want to steal, is the thing.
Ah, right. You don't need him to steal stuff. You need to get into the house.
Yeah. But I could... Okay, so if I go in there, I sleep the guy at the door. I go in, I tie him up, and then I go and find the other one and I, you know, sleep him as well. And tie them both up. And I could wake up the older one. And I could say, I need to get access to your employer's home. Like, they leave, you see, so they're not there at night to let me in. Maybe the kids are, you know, maybe the adults and the children leave to go somewhere at some point. But without knowing that, then I'd have to keep this guy hostage for like weeks, which is untenable, really.
Mess.
There's no guarantee they've got the key. There's no guarantee that there's anything in there. Another option is to use Alter Self and try and return the spellbook as a way to get in. But I'd have to be quick, because the spell would run out, they'd see me change. I'd have to have a good reason to hang around or a way to hide and that they wouldn't be suspicious. Great
and
to have
of
an
all the
illusion
people
spell.
To notice you, this family is probably the
they'll
one who would, even if disguised, would notice the face.
Surely, I feel like they wouldn't see through Alter Self.
Really? If someone had murdered your husband or father or whatever, your son, your brother, and you were putting out thousands of GP wanted posters for this person with the face drawn on it, wouldn't you study that face pretty well? And then if one day someone showed up with a spellbook that kind of looked a little bit like that poster, you might not immediately jump to it's him, kill him, but it might worry you enough that you make a polite excuse and call a guard. You know, have a little bit of backup on hand. Right?
Yeah. Question about sleep spell. I knock on the door. I hear the lock start to undo, and then I cast sleep at the door before the door opens. Is that person asleep then? Or...
You need to be able to see the target to cast a spell upon them.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't. If you're in darkness and they're in dark, if you cannot see them, you cannot cast upon them.
So you can't like sleep someone through a wall.
Yeah, page 111. If the spell is targeted on a person, place, or thing, the caster must be able to see that target. It is not enough to cast a fireball 150 feet ahead into the darkness. The caster must be able to see the point of explosion and the intervening distance.
Well, yeah, okay, but I could, if I'm casting it at the base of the door, I could see that.
Would the base of the door be in darkness?
Sorry, no darkness, right? I just knock on the door. When I hear the door unlocking, because I know the guy then is behind the door. If I cast sleep at the foot of the door, it would hit him, right?
It would hit him, but the casting time on sleep, it's only 1, but the time to unlock a door and open it is pretty trivial. So you are going to be put in a place where, as the door is opening, you're casting a spell, and if he passes a surprise check and recognizes that you're casting a spell and immediately knows that he should do something to interrupt you, he would have opportunity to.
What does
It's not a zero casting time.
What does the street look like outside that house?
Old paving stones that have been kind of torn up in some places, refuse along the gutters, some miscellaneous debris that people like, tables and chairs that people have tossed out their windows or tossed out their doors that they don't need anymore. A couple of carts hauling miscellaneous goods going through, some barefoot kids playing around, some actual tables and chairs out with grandpa and grandma and a bottle of wine, sitting, playing dominoes.
Okay.
Not very much in the way of plant life, sadly.
I think I will head back to my inn and go and gather Thalias's spellbook.
Mm-hmm.
And I take my time. I come back. Are the streets still busy? Is it still, by now the sun is set, right?
By now the sun is setting or set. Shadows are super long. Everything's getting dim. Yep. There's still some people out. Grandma and grandpa still out there with the wine bottle. Kids are inside now, except for the few whose parents aren't home yet. A donkey wonks through the streets, pulling a cart with someone sitting behind it, leaving trails of manure where it goes.
I try and just hang out and wait for the streets to clear. Like, I'll go and get a drink in a tavern and wait.
Yeah.
And come back in an hour or so. Just check outside.
Yeah. You come back a little bit later, and it's real quiet.
Okay.
Real quiet. Just the rats running through the gutters now.
Oh, I know. I see what you're doing by mentioning the rats, by the way. You know what you're doing. You're going to be like, oh, well, the sleep puts to sleep the rats because they're only half a hit die and it doesn't hit the guy. Is there so I'm the guy's front door. Let's say I wanted to knock on his door and then hide around a corner or hide behind a box or hide somewhere away from his door where I could still see it and it's still within range of sleep. Is that something that I could find? Range 30 yards.
The door is raised maybe 3 feet up off the ground, and there's a stone staircase that leads to it with little metal rails on either side. So if you were to knock on this door, you could hop the 3 feet down the stoop, essentially. It wouldn't be perfect invisibility or hiddenness.
No.
But it would be a little bit of an obstacle between the two of you.
I kind of just need him not to see me the instant he opens the door. Not to get a look at my face. Basically. I'm not really sure this is worth it, but...
You've spent too much time on it to abandon the plan now.
Yeah, I know, exactly. This is what I always find myself in these situations playing a wizard. Okay, let me just do one last bit of thinking before I gung-ho into this. Alright. I will, the streets are quiet. I go up to the door. And I bang on it 3 times loudly, and then jump from the, like you said, jump and crouch down next to the stairs. And I get ready. I know I can't precast it, but I get ready to cast sleep when I hear the door opening.
Okay. Would you like the high roll or the low roll?
For what?
There's some dice rolls to be made. Do you want the higher rolls to favor you or the lower rolls to favor you?
What are you feeling, Neil? What are you feeling like you're gonna roll? You feeling like you're gonna roll high or low?
I don't know. Probably
Listen,
high. I always do.
I'm gonna go with high. Yeah.
Fucked. That's right between the 8 and the 16. Gotta actually let it land on a number. 18. Excellent.
Boom.
The door opens. Hello?
Right.
Comes the voice.
Right, I cast sleep.
Mm-hmm. You cast sleep. He is surprised.
Do you want a 2d4? Just in case
I do
this
want a
guy's like a
2d4.
beast.
Yeah, he might have a whole hassle of rats with him.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, shit.
Oh! Cast sleep centered upon this man before you.
Yeah.
The man crumples to the ground quietly.
I climb back up the steps and quickly search him. Is it the old man or the young man?
It is the older gentleman.
Okay.
He's got some fresh ash on his fingers and hands, and some slippers on, but he has no possessions. He's changed into his like evening comfortable clothes instead of his work clothes, and has no keys, locks, jewelry, coins, trinkets, tools of any kind. Just his nighttime wear.
I drag him into the room and close the door behind him, and then I go to hide.
You hear a voice, "Sweetie, who is it?"
Oh fuck! There's two of them. I wait.
Barry? You hear footsteps of someone coming.
Yeah, I hide. I'm waiting, so I'm gonna have a view of her when she gets to the body.
You're inside the building, right?
I'm inside the building. Yeah, I'm hiding like behind that chair or something.
Yeah, it's quite dark in here. The only
Right.
light in this
Well,
floor is what leaks through some windows, which is not
That's
much.
probably enough, but it's probably enough for me as a shadow mage.
Yeah. Well, you hear the voice coming from the end of the hall, having come down the staircase, and shouting down the hall, "Barry!" Oh. And then kind of like an exasperated sigh, and then the stomping of someone coming down the hallway towards the front door.
Okay. When I sort of like, I'm guessing where they are, I'm gonna cast another sleep spell and try and hit them with it, as they're like round a corner or something.
Yeah. Ah, another surprised individual. Completely unexpected. 7. That's a lot of hit dice.
Yeah.
It's
The range is 30 feet. It's probably not that big of a house. Is there any chance I might get the other guy in here as well? So she hits the deck, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she crumples to the ground.
Okay, good. All right, 2 sleep spells down. That's going to last for 5 rounds of level, so they're out for 20 minutes right now. Which is probably good enough. I will cast Blur on myself.
Mm-hmm. You are very blurry now.
I draw my dagger. And
Excellent.
I start creeping around the house.
Okay, blur lasts for 3 rounds plus 1 round per level, so 7 minutes. Enemies are at -2 to hit you, except for the first attack, which is at -4.
Yeah.
Okay. You creep round the staircase. You have dark vision because of your shadow mage stuff, right? Or at least low light
Correct.
vision.
I can
So you
see
can
in...
this.
I think I can see in moonlight as if it's daylight.
Oh, lovely. So yeah, you can easily make your way. The first floor here has a kitchen. It has some
so
seating
I look
and dining
around.
areas. Mhm.
I don't see any keys on like hooks on the wall or anything like that.
No, but there's like, a coat and a cloak and some extra outdoor wear stuff, but no keys.
If I see the jacket that the guy was wearing when he was walking back, I check that, the keys.
Yep. You can check the jacket, pat it down, no keys on it. You'll notice this house has a deadbolt and not a key. So you wouldn't even need a key to get into this building. You just need it not to be deadbolted.
Okay. So if I find a key, then I'm pretty happy. But I look for a key in his jacket or something like that. I don't see anything.
Not there.
I try to follow the direction the woman came and try and find their bedroom.
Yeah.
And all the
She came
time,
from
I
upstairs.
am ready to do something if I hear, like, the sun.
Yeah. Well, you get up the stairs part way. Make me a dex check.
What, to go up the stairs?
Yeah, you got to go up the stairs. There's a little bit of ice on them. It's kind of hard to walk up.
This is the kind of shit I'm talking about now. 24.
Nah. So you get to the top of the stairs and you can peer around and you can see that there's a fireplace in here, and seated in front of the fireplace, watching the flames flicker back and forth, is the younger man, but he does not hear you coming. That's the dex check.
Okay. Oh, fuck.
You a murderer, Arachis? Will you kill for magic?
I am a murderer, aren't I? But well, no, a manslaughterer. Sorry. Well, I've killed at this point. I've killed a lot of people, but most of them had it coming.
They had it coming. This kid, he's just living his life. He's a civilian, right? He's not involved in any of this stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve to die. And yet here we are.
Well, he's seated over here, watching the fire.
Okay,
It's just a comfortable area. The staircase continues up to the floor above, and there's a couple of rooms at the back of this area.
In the light of the fire in this room, do I see any keys hanging or anything like that in this room that he's in?
Make me a perception check.
Yes,
See if there's something in the obvious. Searching, scanning.
Shit, 17.
No, there's a bunch of stuff in here. It could be like underneath any of these things, maybe underneath an old hat, or you're just on the other side of that chair, just on the other side of that little wall near those cabinets.
I try and go past him up the stairs.
Yep. Yeah, because the stairs wrap around, the rooms over here. The stairs come up and then go this way. So it's easy
just to remind you, he's just heard his mum go down the stairs as well, and his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I go past him up the stairs.
Up the stairs.
I'm trying to track the minutes as well, by the way. So how long? It's been like what, a minute, 2 minutes?
2 minutes maybe. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You get up to the third floor, the final floor of this building. Top floor. And there's a series of rooms here. All the doors to all the rooms are open, and you can see the contents of the rooms by the light let in through their windows. It is bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. One of the bedrooms appears to have been converted into some sort of arts and crafts room, maybe like a fabric room. Maybe the mom is a seamstress, and the father and son are gardeners.
Okay, so I ignore the seamstress room. Looking for what I think is the older couple's bedroom.
That's got to be the biggest of the rooms here, then.
Or if there's an obvious office.
No office to be had.
Yeah, so I head into their bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I look around. I'm going to check drawers.
You're going to search the bedroom.
Yeah. Looking for a key, or like maybe, I don't know, a diary or a schedule, or just anything that might help me here.
Mm-hmm. Would you make me a perception check? Don't worry about it.
Uh-oh.
Well, you can find some stashed money. You can find personal effects. You can find the like special stored jewelry that someone would keep for special occasions. You can find things of material value and sentimental interest, but you do not find a key. There's no key to be seen.
Yeah. I'm not going to steal from them. It's silly. Well, wait, hang on. Is there any like one thing that's obviously super expensive, or is it all just like a few gold?
No, there's a necklace in here that has it's made of it's like a silver butterfly with some sort of gemstones for the body. It's probably like a wedding gift or maybe a Christmas gift or a Yule gift or whatever. It's probably worth 5, 10, 20 gold, maybe 30 gold. Who knows what those stones are worth?
Yeah, okay, but it's not like 100 gold. Probably. Unlikely.
Unlikely.
Okay. I go back to the door.
There's just some straight up coinage, though. You can find like 3 bags of silver in a closet.
How much silver? Like 100?
50 silver per bag, so 150 silver.
I'll leave it. As I get back to the landing, I listen. I mean, I'm aware that there's somebody awake down here, so do I feel like this guy's he's not moving around?
Yeah. You get back to the landing. You peer around the corner, and there's the guy who's just just sitting there watching the flames. He's got a piece of wood in his hand now.
There's 3 bedrooms up here, right? I'm going to check the other bedroom that's not the seamstress room.
Yeah.
How many minutes? How many minutes are we looking at now?
Let's see. 2, 3, 4. You go back down. This is in the middle of your 5th minute.
Okay. I check this room.
You give it another good search. Similar concept. Some personal effects, some minor valuables. There's a journal here that someone's written.
Take that.
In a scrawling hand, not a great hand. No.
I'll take his journal.
Okay. That's it. No keys.
Anything else? All right, I checked the last room, the seamstress's room.
Fabric, thread, spinning wheels, pin cushions, all sorts of utilities for sewing. Not very much in the way of storage other than just like shelving that you can stack fabric on and lace and patterns on. No keys to be seen anywhere, but if you wanted to look, if it was hidden in a piece of fabric, it could be anywhere.
It's not gonna be, is it? Like, I mean, the guy, if he has a key, he needs it. It's probably really, really important to him that he keeps it safe. He's gonna put it somewhere, like on a hook, or leave it in his jacket, or if he had like
somewhere
a safe
he can't
or something.
lose it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just going to be randomly like under a hat, like you were saying, or in a piece of fabric.
That'd be insane.
Okay. Exactly. I will get back to the landing where the younger lad is, and I give one more check.
This is probably your 6th minute, I should be saying.
Okay, yeah. I give one last look around that room he's in.
Yeah, well, there's some things here. There's like a couple of bowls that might contain like a key, or maybe it's just food from dinner, some glasses. There's a tankard of wine that's tapped sitting on a shelf near the fireplace. There's a bunch of wood. There's a back patio with a rope that hangs off the edge.
Back patio with a rope that hangs off the edge?
Yeah, because we're 1 floor above the ground. And there's all this firewood. So either you haul it up by hand or you pull it up with a rope.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Or it's an escape route, or they're hanging a goblin outside. Who knows?
It's probably not. Yeah, that makes more sense. Question about mechanics: could I sneak up on this guy and kill him, or not? It would be a fight.
It would be a fight. Yeah, it's not an instant kill, guaranteed.
I will attempt to sneak past, back down.
Okay, give me a dex check.
Ah, fuck. 24.
All right. You get down. You see in the darkness, there's the 2 unconscious people.
I search the downstairs.
Right, there's the kitchen. There's a little sitting room out here. There's a space for sharpening tools. There's a collection of additional tools in a cupboard over here. Brooms and broom dustpans and whatnot. And yet still no keys. Sharpening stones, yes. Axe, absolutely. Key, nada.
I think I just have to step over the... Well, there's one last thing. Is there a way out to the garden from the kitchen?
Absolutely, yeah.
I head out into the garden.
Stack of firewood, a really nice, well-kept-up garden for the little tiny garden space that it is. It's not very wide, maybe 20 feet across and 10 feet deep. No fruiting anything, just decorative vines and a shrub and one little tiny tree.
There's no basement?
There is a cellar door, yes.
From the garden?
Yes.
Or from the inside? I just check it.
Well,
if it's
from
open.
both. There'll be one from the front of the street, one from the back of the house, and one from the kitchen. We'll all enter into the cellar.
From the garden, do I feel like I could escape via the garden?
It would be a climb walls check to scale over something, and then you'd end up in someone else's garden.
Okay, that's not ideal. What minutes are we on? 7, 8?
8, 9, something like that.
Okay. I leave. I'm going to step over the bodies and just close the front door behind me and go.
Okay. You go into the night. These people will have a story, a fascinating story to tell everyone they meet, wondering why this man put them to sleep. And everyone else will wonder, did this really happen? Did this really happen?
They didn't see a man putting them to sleep. They heard a knock on the door, and the next thing they know, they both woke up on the floor.
Yeah. They might have heard a voice, a male voice incanting words.
Perhaps if they could pass a perception check.
Yeah. But who would do that? The boy upstairs didn't hear anything.
Yeah. Like he's not going to believe them. He'd be like, what, somebody was in the house? That doesn't make sense. I would have heard them. I was awake.
Nothing was taken. Well, who would do this? Who would waste magic on this?
Well, exactly. So I leave somewhat disappointed. I think about how I could have killed one of them and maybe identified the magic on the book, but it felt like a step too far.
That's not quite who Arachis is yet.
Not yet, no.
If you had to kill and murder someone once before, then maybe it would have been okay here. But as your first cold-blooded murder, just to upcast a spell, seems a little out of character.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit out of character. Because, like, the last time he killed someone, it changed his entire life, so I don't think it would be, like, done lightly, you know. I head back to my tavern.
Disappointed.
Yeah, and I'm, as an investment professional, I got to think about the risk reward. The risk reward of getting into that house is just, it's really risky, and the rewards are potentially non-existent. At least
there's a wizard tower there.
I know. There's almost certainly something in there, but who's to say whether I could get to it, or it could get all that way and it'd be wizard locked and I can't open the door.
Wizard lock.
Quite possible, right? And he's a higher level wizard than me, so there's no way I'd be able to bypass his wizard lock.
But hasn't it been years? So shouldn't someone have opened that door by now?
Does it dispel it when it's opened?
These are the questions that must keep Arachis up.
Yeah.
Would they have sold all of his wizarding things? Does he have a wizarding son? What do we know about Thalius's family anyway?
Well, we don't know anything about him, really. We don't really know much about him, never mind his family. We know that he's a friend of the common man. That's all we know. Okay. I head back to my inn and I reassess, and I think what is more in my power to pursue is trying to identify the magic on the pages. And no, I can't use an identify spell because I can't cast identify. I'm wondering if I could go and find a goblin. Is there goblins around here?
In this city? Oh, yeah. You'll find goblins somewhere.
In the city? Oh.
There is inevitably going to be some Verasi garrison in the city that has a tassel of goblins that they use for manual labor or, petty bullshit. And if you go outside of the city, you could similarly find goblins used as just crap, cheap, easy labor, doing dangerous jobs that no one else wants to do.
It's annoying. I just killed a whole bunch of goblins last week.
Yeah.
I'm sort of half considering hiring some guys and trying to go out and find some goblins and fuck them up. Is there wild goblins? Is that feral goblins?
No. Once upon a time, there might have been miscellaneous goblin tribes, but one of the ways the army of Verasi gains so many soldiers is by taking the monsters in the area that have long been oppressed by the civilized kingdoms and turns them into cannon fodder and be like, come fight for us. You can sack and loot the towns of the people who have so long oppressed you and kept you hidden in the woods. And so now those goblins are the backbone, so to say, of the army that is now oppressing these people.
Yeah, so the reason I would say I could sacrifice a goblin is because a goblin won't be missed. But a goblin employed by the state would be missed.
Now, there's a whole tree here, and we are sort of skipping ahead, right? Cat or chicken gives you 1 level. Dog, pig, goat, or sheep gives you 2. Donkey, cow, horse, or oxen gives you 3. And then at elf, human, goblin, it gets you 4 levels. And maybe you don't need something as brazen as a goblin.
Oh, I just find a cow in a farm.
You just find a cow on a farm. Just out there in the pastures.
That'd be... There's
or a
pig
farmland. Or a sheep.
There's farmland around here, right?
Oh, yeah. Lots of it. Just outside the walls.
I could sneak into a barn. No problem, probably.
You don't want to start with one of the dogs in the town, maybe? Or go get a pig at the market tomorrow?
It's too expensive. I can't afford 25 gold for a pig.
Okay. All right.
That's too expensive. But I could walk out the outskirts of the town and just slaughter a cow and use it to cast this spell. That seems eminently doable, really. Most barns lock from the inside, so I could find a barn, hide in it until night when the cows get put in the barn.
How do you lock a barn? Is there a key?
It's usually, I would think it's like a wooden brace thing that you just put over the.
But then how do you get out after you lock it?
Wait, what do you mean? Oh yeah. Well, I don't know.
You wouldn't sleep in the barn, right?
That's true. Yeah, I don't know then. How do you lock a barn with a rope?
I don't think you do.
Oh, you don't? Well, perfect. There you go. Then.
I don't know, but I don't think you do, right?
Yeah, no, I think you're probably right. Yeah, you probably don't. Well, you need to stop the cows getting out, though.
You can't slide a door.
Yeah, but a barn's not gonna have it's gonna have like a big double doors that swing open, though. Well,
I thought barn doors slid. Maybe they swing open. Do you even put cows in barn doors? You put horses in stalls. I don't think you put cows in barns.
You just leave them in the fields overnight? Maybe you do, yeah.
I guess it depends on... I'm sure many different things have been done in many different places and times, but I think you probably just leave them out in the pasture.
All right. I go to sleep tomorrow evening. What's the last time I can get out of the city without being weird?
Sundown?
I could get out at sundown and no people wouldn't question it.
Yeah, if you could... The gates shut when the sun goes down. So if you're leaving town, you can leave before sundown and be outside and no one cares. But then you couldn't get back in until sunup.
Yeah, okay. Well, I gather my things. I tell the innkeeper that I'll be back, but I'll be gone for a couple of days. And I'm just going to leave the city. And I'm going to wander the pastures looking for a field of cows, essentially.
Yeah, you can find a field of cows outside. This is the next day. Right?
Next day, yeah, correct.
Yeah. We head out into the farmlands, just around the holy city of Emberstone. And sure enough, there's a bunch of farmlands. Yeah. Cows over there, there's some horses there, there's like a whole bunch of goats over here and some sheep over there. A flock of chickens.
I'd like to find the farm that's maybe furthest, on the edge of the town.
Yeah, you can walk a couple hours.
Not one that's most surrounded. Yeah.
Yeah. You walk down the main promenade away from Holy City, Emberstone. There are 3 roads leading away from town. Which one would you be taking? This one would be closest to your inn. Not that really matters.
Well, I'll take the one furthest away from my inn, just in case.
Okay, that would probably be
identify me.
Yep. So you head out this gate and you go in the direction of Purdale. You get an hour or so out into the most outskirty sections where it's just farmland for long periods of time.
And while we're here,
a place with a herd of 50 cows.
If I gave you a dagger in real life,
yeah,
you could kill a cow, like by cutting its throat.
You could kill a cow, but cutting its throat is going to be a bit of a process. Cow's got thick leather. It's not going to kill it instantly. A really sharp blade on a cow by an expert butcher can probably bring it down fast. Someone who's never sacrificed one of these things before will make noise. If it was sleeping, that would be
Because I don't actually functionally, I don't think there's much difference between the cow being asleep and it being awake. Because it's not going to know that I've got a dagger to its throat until I'm cutting it.
Well, you're gonna like want to wrap your arm around its neck, but cows are super friendly, lovely, happy creatures. So,
That's true.
yeah, you know, You've never done this before. You could probably slit a cow's throat if you could catch it by itself. And if it didn't go well, you just have to hold on so you could try it again without it pulling away because they're strong. Cows are really strong.
I have a friend who's scared of cows.
Mm-hmm.
If you go walking in the countryside in England, sometimes you find yourself chased by them. Which I know sounds insane, but it does happen. Because I think
disease.
they think that you're the farmer with food, perhaps. So you walk through that field and they all start running towards you, which they don't do anything, but people freak out and run away. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I think what I will do is the moon is relatively decent these days, is it?
Yeah, I think we're somewhere around the 17th of October, so the moon is just past full.
So I'm going to just take a seat next to a tree on top of a hill where I can see this farm.
Yeah.
And, just wait, maybe have a little sleep, just wait out for the sun to go down.
Lovely. The sun goes down. Time passes. Yeah.
And do the cows stay in the field?
Yeah, they huddle up on one side in like a big herd. They all sleep.
They're in a big herd, are they?
Yeah, they all come near each other. I mean, they're not like pressed up against each other, but they do sleep together.
Classic cow behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's the next day. I'm just refreshing my spells. I didn't say any difference. I'm just taking the same ones that I had yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I stand up from my tree. I take Thalius's spellbook out of my bag and have it in my left hand as I walk towards the cows, trying to be quiet. I don't want to spook them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some will lift their heads and be alerted to your presence, but you're just a normal person. Right to roam is in full effect. This isn't the first time that this has happened.
I get a bit closer to the cows and I stop and I sit down and I kind of wait there next to them until they chill out.
How do you pick your heifer?
The one on the edge.
Okay. A tactical decision. You're not going for the loveliest looking cow or the meanest looking cow. It's easiest to get to.
The enchantment doesn't discern between children and older ones, or does it?
It's more about someone's soul size, and that has more to do with like. So no, generally no.
Okay, so if there's a calf, then that would be perfect.
Yes. Oh, wouldn't you know it? There are 4 calves in this herd of 50.
Perfect. Is any of them near the edge?
One of them is like 30 feet from the edge of the pack.
Yeah. Okay. So I get a little bit closer to the cows and I let them chill out. I don't get too close to the calf because that might upset them. But I hang out for a little bit. I pet the cows a little bit. Over time, I get a little bit closer.
Do you have an animal handling proficiency?
Oh, I think I do actually, because I'm doing. I do have animal handling. And it's fucking good as well because it's
blend
wisdom.
in with the cows. No
My
check
animal handling
needed.
is
You just
16.
Fantastic.
So that is good. Yeah, so I
You're
get
amongst
close
them.
to my cows. Can I get to the calf without scaring it?
Yeah, with an animal handling proficiency, not a problem.
All right.
You don't even need to make a check. You just you know how to handle animals.
I don't need my light stone because the moonlight is strong, and I'm a shadow mage, so I can see in the dark. So I get my spellbook out. I take my backpack off, put it down on the ground. I prop Thalius's spellbook up against the bag, so it's like I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start with my left hand. I caress the calf's head, stroke it, soothe it, and then I pull my kriss out, and when the moment is right, I will cast the spell, cut the cow's throat, detect magic, and then immediately, I'm not going to detect magic on the book straight away. As soon as the spell is cast, I don't even need to put the book, actually. I could have just left that in my bag, but I pick everything back up, and I walk away. And as long as I'm away within the duration of the spell, then I can detect magic on it.
Excellent. And the duration of detect magic is 2 rounds per level, and you'd be upcasting it. So,
yes,
plenty of time.
Yeah.
Plenty of time. You just need to say the words and slit the cow's throat and then disappear back into the farmland.
That's it.
Right. Well, why don't we...
Is there enough tension in killing a cow to take a break? Maybe.
Why don't you just give me your choice of strength check or dex check to do this one time, real quickly, real fast, real efficiently. You've never slit the throat of a creature this large.
Can I not argue an animal
bit.
handling check? Because being an animal handler will involve slaughtering animals at times.
Enables the character to exercise a greater than normal degree of control over pack animals and beasts of burden. A successful proficiency check indicates the character has succeeded in calming an excited or agitated animal. Yeah, go ahead. Do it.
All right, so I'll do this instead, because this is much better for me than strength or dex. 27.
Beautiful. You slit the cow's throat. It hits the ground with a... Blood splashes everywhere. There's a lot of volume of liquid in a cow, and so it lands on your robe, standing in red.
get out.
It splashes on your boots.
I get out straight away. I mean, you can say I get blood on it. I mean, I obviously know it's going to piss blood out of the slit on its neck. I try not to get covered in cow's blood. But...
You try, but you are butchering an animal, literally.
That's
it's
fine.
It's going to be a bloody process.
I'm not soaked through, though. I might get some blood on me, but I don't think I'm, like, soaked through with blood. Yeah, okay.
No. Yeah. The other cows in the herd, smelling blood and hearing the sounds, freak out. I will need another animal handling check from you.
I'm not trying to calm them. I'm trying to get out before the freak out
the animal
happens.
handling check is to get them out, to get out of there before they trample you or to...
22.
Perfect. Yeah. You escape the pack, the spell churning through you. A cow upcasts this at 3 levels higher than normal, so 7th level, 70% chance.
I head back to the hill where I was sitting, and I take the book out, and I attempt to detect magic on it.
Excellent. Roll me a 1d10. You want a 7 or lower.
I've rolled two 10s already. If I get another 10, then, well, what am I meant to do? There we go.
Oh, beautiful. Excellent. You can detect. Where is our... Thalius's spellbook? The pages of gibberish are covered with a moderate alteration spell on them.
Okay, I need to write that down. It's moderate alteration.
Yes.
Okay. Moderate means what level?
It's not so much a one-to-one sort of thing, but moderate usually wouldn't start below 3rd level. You know, that has a lot to do more with like the strength and duration. So a low-level spell that has a permanent duration will radiate more magic than maybe a slightly higher level spell that has a shorter duration.
Yeah. That makes sense. Do I have any? Can I roll a spellcraft check, perhaps?
Yes.
To maybe try and determine what kind of spell that could be.
Do you have spellcraft?
I do, but my int's not the best. 18?
Let's see. Spellcraft. Proficiency does not grant the character any spellcasting powers. It does give him familiarity with different forms and rites of spellcasting. If he observes and overhears... Okay, someone casting a spell, or if he examines the material components used, he can attempt to identify the spell being cast. A proficiency check must be rolled to make a correct identification. You get +3 identifying your own school. So this is used primarily for...
while spells are being cast. So maybe Arcanology is better?
Arcanology is the study of spellcasters of the past, but you're not looking for necessarily the exact spell that is covering this.
I'm trying to say like what wizards of the past what kind of moderate alteration spells might wizards cast that could disguise text. Right.
I think with that at like a +6, you could get an answer to. That's a simple question. You're a studied mage. So why don't we take our break here?
Okay. Yeah.
And we'll come back on the other side with a list of spells that this might be.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So, thinking about these things, there's a list of spells. I'm going to go in.
Okay, for the record, I'm not trying to get back into the city tonight. I'll just camp out here tonight.
That's fair. At second level, there's Fire Trap, Frisky Chest, Magic Lantern, Moon Rune, and Watchful Ward that might be in this area. Watchful Ward requires a mask, and this book doesn't look like a mask, so it's probably not it. Moon Rune, maybe. Magic Lantern, this thing doesn't turn on or off, and it's not really a lantern, so probably not. Frisky Chest is not running away from you. Fire Trap, you've used it.
Yep.
Third level, Aldrich's Discriminating Door.
No.
Curse, which with the cleric version. Glyph of Warding. Illusory Script, which usually has a duration, but maybe there's some other variant of it that you're not aware of, or someone made a permanent somehow.
Oh, well, I was pretty certain it wasn't an illusion, right?
Yeah. Yep. Lesser Sign of Sealing, Repel Water, and Secret Page are all third level spells. Fourth level.
How does Secret Page work?
I'm going to ask you to make me an intelligence check. Since you don't know it, an intelligence check at minus the spell level to know anything about it.
Okay. Let's see.
That's a very good check. Secret Page. When cast, a secret page spell alters the actual contents of a page so they appear to be something entirely different. Thus, a map can be changed to become a treaty on burnishing ebony walking sticks. The text of a spell can be altered to show a ledger page or even the form of another spell. Infuse languages and explosive rune spells may be cast upon a secret page, but a comprehend language spell cannot reveal the secret page's components. The caster is able to reveal the original contents by speaking a command word, perusing the actual page, and then returning it to its secret page form. The caster can also remove the spell by double repetition of the command word. Others noting the magic of the page within the spell's cloaking its true contents can attempt to dispel magic, but if it fails, the page is destroyed. The True Seeing spell does not reveal the contents unless cast in combination with comprehend languages. An erase spell will destroy the writing. Material components are powdered herring scales and either will-o'-the-wisp or boggart essence.
Okay.
And it usually affects one page at a time.
Yeah, and this is like 30 pages.
Yeah, so this would have had to be cast 30 times. It does last until it's dispelled, though.
Yeah, okay.
Fourth level is Curse, the wizard version. Fire Trap, I can't remember which version. And Greater Beacon. You haven't activated any curses or fire traps, and those also would probably only be one page. Beacon probably wouldn't affect a single page. Fifth level is Age Object and Proofing versus Combustion.
Okay, so it could be Proofing versus Combustion, and it's just written in a strange language. I had totally forgotten that Comprehend Languages works on reading as well as speaking. That is something to try.
Wait, what do you mean it could be proof against combustion written in a language?
Sorry, I'm saying the aura that I've detected could just be proof versus combustion that he's cast on those pages.
But they only cast it on the gibberish pages.
Yeah, which would be odd.
That would be odd.
Okay, I think I need to try comprehend languages. So I will sleep out here tonight. And
That's a spell you actually have.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I learnt it from Thalius' book.
Excellent. So you can sleep the night away, wake up in the morning,
Okay.
eat a pinch of soot, and a few grains of salt, and throw down a comprehend languages on
whilst touching the pages.
And yet, the pages are not revealed to you.
So, none of these spells make sense, except for potentially secret page, but it would have to be like an insane level of cost gone into doing that. So what happens when I cast the comprehend languages? It just still looks like gibberish.
Still looks like gibberish. The other possibility is it is gibberish, and the magic aura on it is a fake magic aura. And this has all been a huge waste of time.
Yeah, but that doesn't feel right.
Hmm.
So I cast my comprehend languages. It doesn't work.
What a shitty trap that would be, making someone think that there's like magic to be discovered, and they waste months of their lives trying to figure it out. That's actually a hilarious trap.
I try like looking at it upside down or back to front or something like that and see if it makes any more sense.
Give me an intelligence check. Let's see if you can figure out all the ways.
I have a read magic to combine with this as well, if needed.
Yeah, I mean, you look through pages against light. You turn it upside down. You you rotate it at different angles. You try and look through 2 pages at one time. It's possible that there's some secret out there that you haven't thought of, but you've tried all of the really obvious things, and it, definitely not them.
So the secret page said it can be cancelled by saying the phrase twice. Is that what it said?
It can be turned off. Like the page can be made non-gibberish if you use the word. And then you can use the word again to turn the page back to gibberish, or you can just spell it by saying the word twice.
So basic passphrase doesn't work.
Saying basic passphrase does not work, correct.
I try and cycle through some like synonyms of the phrase basic passphrase. So I tried other languages, but I'll try things like simple key or I need to look up some synonyms for basic and passphrase, but I try and maybe it's a clue to remind him of what the passphrase is without actually giving it away if someone were to find the book. So he writes basic passphrase and he knows that means, simple key or I genuinely can't think of another one, but there's got to be a few. So I try some of that. I only need to say the phrase whilst looking through the pages.
Now, this is an interesting thing because we've got a puzzle right here.
Yeah.
And that Arachis is going to be sitting here for hours, probably working on this sort of thing. And let's just say it works, right? Let's say that you can come up with it. That Arachis can come up with it without Nick spending hours coming up with it. How does that get resolved? Is that just going to be like a check to see if you can pass this check? You figure out the secret.
I guess it depends how close to the answer I am by saying it's just like a synonym for the phrase basic passphrase. If it's just that, then I think it's relatively straightforward. If there's more to it than that, I mean, what else can you do but an intelligence check?
Right. So let's say you spend an hour or so working on all your variants of basic passphrase, and none of those seem to be working.
Yeah.
And I think earlier you tried to you looked
alternative languages.
You used the language of magic to try and say basic passphrase.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
So I could try other languages. So what are some other languages what other languages do they speak around here? Maybe this is where he's from. Is there a local dialect?
Well, it doesn't matter because Arachis only speaks common.
No, I know, but I could find someone who speaks it and ask them how to say basic passphrase in that language.
This is the same common tongue that you speak around here. There would be other racial languages, Dwarven, Halfling, Gnomish, Goblin, a few other things like that. But not, I try
and make a list of potential languages. of things that they could be, like a list of order of priority. So I'm probably going to put like Elven at the top of that list.
Mm.
Then maybe Dwarvish. And then, like, you know, other language. After Elven and Dwarvish, I would think of some sort of like human language from a different area rather than going to Goblin or something.
Okay.
So I don't know if there is like another language, but I suspect that it would not be difficult to find out how to say that phrase in these other languages, especially if I had access to a library, but even if just I could find someone who speaks it. Now, it might be hard to find an elf, to be fair.
That would be real hard.
Might be easier to find an elven dictionary, though.
Maybe. That's a long quest to go looking for someone to translate these things for you. That'll take money. That'll take time.
Do you really think
how much gold do you have? Yeah, well, you're going to need to access things like any sort of special skill is going to be paywalled. Yeah,
just someone to speak the language, right? Yeah, but it's not like I'm asking to translate the whole text.
Elven is going to be hard. Finding someone to speak Dwarven, you know, if you walk up to someone who speaks Dwarven and say, "Hey, I need you to translate this thing for me," now you've got a conversation about it, right? So you can bypass the conversation and just say, "Translate this for me" by giving them money. Or you can run some sort of elaborate scheme to diffuse their attentions why you need the Dwarven word for basic passphrase. So it's either time intensive or money intensive process, which we can do. Yeah. You're here for a long time, and we can just kind of roll through a couple of weeks with a dice roll.
Gold. I've only got 25 gold, so I haven't got a lot to pay. But I honestly don't think it would... Like, if I found a Dwarven speaker and I gave him a gold coin and said, how do you say basic passphrase? I mean, he'll tell me, right?
Maybe, yeah.
So, is there a library in Emberstone? There's got to be.
Public library... not in the outer city... But in the inner city, there is a library, and it'll be the same thing. You need a library card. A library card costs a bunch of money.
Yeah. I do have one for Valebrook, but alas, that won't help me. Can I just read, is there any more clues here? Wizard, Sage, Scholar, and Friend of the Common Man. Is there a clue there? Oh. Almost feels like there is, but I don't know what it would... What it would be. The Whisperwood, where's that?
Whisperwood?
Any idea?
Does he mention that in his book?
That's his surname.
Oh. No. That's just his surname. Not a nearby location. I remember coming up with this. Yes.
There's got to be people that speak Elvish in Holy City Emberstone.
There's got to be someone, right?
Has to be, like a cleric, maybe, or a wizard. To be fair, the thing is with the wizards, it's risky speaking to them in this city. Okay, I think what I will do is I tried a bunch of synonyms of basic passphrase. I'm going to write them down because when I get to the Elven, when I get to someone who can translate, I'm not going to just translate basic passphrase. I'm going to translate synonyms of them as well.
Okay.
Because it could be simple key in Elvish rather than basic passphrase in Elvish.
This means that essentially you're going to have the spellbook open to some gibberish pages. Have someone speak all of these different things.
They could just tell me how to say it. I don't need.
Yeah, but what if they tell you, like, I mean, if I gave you, 30 words in Japanese, would you remember them when you walked home, or would you pull like an Army of Darkness and get home and be like, Ikshta, Blabat?
If I made notes of how to pronounce them, yeah, I think I'd be able to.
Okay.
I think I would be able to.
It would be easier just to put the book in front of a professional and have them speak it assuredly. It would be terrible if you, mispronounce something because it's a difficult sound that you don't have the tongue for.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's also risky.
how well could...
okay, well, if I'm with one of the Fireflies, then yeah. I'll get them to do it.
Of course.
Because they can speak
But if you ask me to
Elvish,
say something in Arabic, like I'm not going to pull out the right accent. It's going to come out.
Sorry, but what I'm getting at
terrible.
is that you're saying it would be easier to get a professional to do it. Yes, that's true. But there is obviously a risk in showing someone the spellbook, and so depending on the translator, it would probably be safer to just ask them and write it down. But if it was like, if I'm using the Fireflies to pronounce it for me, then yeah, fine, I'll show them the book and they can say it.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
But
Perfect.
It kind of depends on who I end up with.
And then we're going to make a list of all the different things that the basic passphrase might be. And then
Synonym
we'll
of,
seek out individual people who might speak these languages to try and figure out what that might be.
Or like a dictionary. Okay. In fact, I think maybe I can't solve this today, but every time Arachis meets someone who speaks a different language, he could try it. He could try it, right? And I could, like, over time, maybe track it down.
Okay. Okay, that sounds like a good plan. The one key area where I see us possibly having some conflict over this is what we mean by variants of basic passphrase, because that makes sense. How far out do we go?
Yeah, I know.
You know, and there are a lot of things that might be like basic passphrase that, you know, like initial code, for example. Is that basic passphrase? It's sort of.
I don't think it is.
Okay.
Personally.
So you're saying more things like simple key, or
so like, well, you know, for basic, I guess you've got. Let's see. I'm trying to look at a synonym finder, which is showing me adjectives that aren't very good.
Basic adjectives.
Basic synonym. Fundamental, rudimentary, primary, principal, cardinal, chief, elemental,
okay, so we're just
root,
going
central. Yeah.
Straight synonyms.
Yeah.
And same thing for passphrase. Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
Password, I guess, would be the easier one to find.
We can do that. We can make a list of synonyms in all different combinations, and then as the campaign progresses, each time you come across a person with a new language, we can give it a shot.
I do try Open Sesame now. Just checking.
It doesn't
work. It's not gonna work. Okay.
Unfortunately, so close.
Yeah. Okay. So I try a big list of synonyms, and none of them work in the common tongue, right?
None of them work in the common tongue.
I wish I was better at, like, I don't know if you do cryptic crosswords, Neil, but it could be like something like that. But I'm useless at that.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, do you not? Maybe you don't have that in the US.
I
can't even give you. I can't even give you an example. No, it's like a crossword clue, and it'll be they're really obscure. I can't. You'd have to just. I mean, I'll try and show you some later, but they'll be like maybe a sentence or a two-phrase word, but the clue will be like maybe you have to add a letter into one of the words. Like the second part of it indicates that you have to add a letter into a synonym of the first part of it, or something like that. It could be like more cryptic like that.
Got it.
But it's
okay.
Basic. Okay, so I think I get my.
So let's say that's done. Let's just say that you make your list.
Yeah, and I try and I organize them by what I consider to be priority.
Okay. Is there anything else? Because that'll be something we can play in the background going forward. Is there anything else regarding Thalius, his home, his books, his passphrases, his family that you want to do?
I can't think of it
underhand.
I think that there is probably answers in the house. I don't think I can reliably get into the house without Ren's help.
Okay.
I think with Ren,
it's better not
to
solo Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, let's not Leroy the campaign.
Okay.
Just out of the sake of trying to fit it into this last hour.
No, that's perfect. I appreciate that. Okay.
Wait, the 2 blank pages, what's going on with them? Are they actually blank?
Yeah, they're just blank.
You sure though?
They don't have the additional.
They don't have the magic on them?
No.
Do they have the magic of the other pages?
Yes. The ones that cover the whole spell book cover the
Yeah.
blank pages, and the ones that cover the gibberish do not cover the blank pages.
You know, you said that the spells go beyond third level in here. Am I
Hmm.
believing that the 39 pages of spells goes up to like his highest casting level, and the 57 pages of gibberish are definitely not spells?
You get that you can read the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. You can read the first 11 spells, and it ends with Dispel Magic at third level. And they're all in first, second, third level order. And then after Dispel Magic, it's gibberish. And those could be third level spells, it could be third and fourth level
Uh-huh.
spells. It could just be, some writing that has been magically transformed if we're in the mindset that we think it's magically transformed.
Right. Okay. So my understanding now, so the 39 spell page, the 20 spell pages or whatever, that's just up
Mhm.
to dispel magic.
Yeah, the 39 is up to and including Dispel Magic.
And then so likely the 57 pages of gibberish are just the higher level spells.
And then 2
Okay.
pages left over in the spell book that you couldn't quite fit a spell into.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
they are spells, probably.
Mm.
Large
Only
wizard mark
we
belonging to
had
Thalius. Only we had what?
only we had access to his basic passphrase.
Yeah. That's another thing. It could just be that he has a basic passphrase and he
Mhm.
puts more complicated ones on some books, but he's just saying this is the basic one,
Mhm.
in which case I could never find
Like
it.
if you have an apprentice or something, you might want them to be able to read this spell book but not another one, so you lock them behind different
Yeah.
phrases. You can share knowledge.
But if he's taken the effort to hide the words basic passphrase behind the detect magic,
Mhm.
then why not just write the passphrase at that point?
Yeah. Well, because then any wizard who picks it up would be able to read it.
Yeah,
And it wouldn't be
that's
there'd be
true.
no point in having it in gibberish.
So I'm none the wiser as to what spell is disguising these pages, because none of the spells in your list really describe what I'm looking at, as far as I can tell. You
The only
saying anything
ones
over?
that actually garble text are secret page and illusory script. Everything else is either like a curse or a trap. Um,
Yeah. Can you read me some of Illusionary script? Do you want another
yeah.
intelligence check?
Yes, please. Illusory script is a third level, so at -3.
What did I get? Ah, nice, nailed it. Oh, we
Illusionary
already read that though,
script.
didn't we? You said
No, that was secret page. This enables the caster to write instructions or other information on paper, parchment, etc. The illusionary script appears to be some form of foreign or magical writing. Only the person or people to who the wizard desires to read this writing can do so. An illusionist recognizes it for illusionary script. Unauthorized creatures glancing at it must roll a saving throw versus spell. If they save, then they can look away feeling disoriented. If they fail, a spell in the script attacks them.
so. It can't be that then,
Yeah, and it also has a limited duration.
right?
Yeah.
But secret page doesn't necessarily disguise words as gibberish, does it? Or did it?
Um, when cast, it spell alters the contents of a page so they appear to be something entirely different. Thus,
Hmm.
a map can be changed to a treaty on burnishing walking sticks, or the text of a spell can be altered to show a ledger page or even another form of a spell. So it just changes the what's on the page to be something else.
Yeah. So it's kind of got
You
to
don't
be
think that?
secret page. Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense.
Mm,
Which explains the passphrase, right? I mean, like that makes sense. It's a secret page spell, and there's a password for it, and I need to work it out. So where would that password be? Well, he'd probably have it documented in his wizard tower, I would imagine.
hmm
That's where it would be. I mean, could probably send Renin to go and find that, maybe.
mm,
No, I think
mm.
I think I've said. I think what I've come with is as good as I can get right now. To be honest.
Okay.
Just checking the chat. McTucky says abracadabra. We'll try abracadabra in the same vein as open sesame.
No, that would be hilarious though, but it does not.
Well, it would be a basic passphrase, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I will try the phrase. I flip through the pages saying, "If lost, please return to Thalius Whisperwood, wizard, sage, scholar, and friend of the common man for a great reward."
That's nice. That would have been wonderful, but unfortunately, no.
I try like Dockin Manor, Salamander Lane.
Nope. In the common tongue, none of these seem to be working.
Yeah. Okay, I think I head back to the city. I go back to my room.
Okay.
I get settled in. I spend some time over the next few days trying to find some translation, if I can.
Yeah.
And I think with the rest of the dead time here, I will look at this Black Wizard spellbook and see if there's any level 2 spells that I want to cast.
Okay. Let's get us a nice, quiet tavern track. Nothing too fancy going on over here. Read anything you want. Maybe spending some time on why don't we
No, we don't need to
start
break.
with the spell book?
Oh, right.
No, we're not going to break. We're just going to do one or two things and then maybe end.
Yeah, so I'm seeing... You still there?
I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah. I see a couple of spells at level 2 that are of interest to me. I just need to be careful about maxing my list out. So I've got space for 3 spells at level 2. There's 2 spells here, which I think would be 3 spells that would be good. Wait, strength is alteration. How would strength work on Grau?
He would get stronger.
Yeah, but does he count as a fighter or not?
It depends in bear form, probably a fighter. In non-bear form, probably a non-fighter.
What's his strength in bear form? The same.
I don't know. Hold on, I have to check something outside real quick.
Yep.
I mean, it would be good, maybe. You do what, like D8 strength for a fighter? So
Yeah.
as a bear, it's probably like 16 or 17. I can't remember.
If I cast it on him in like one form and then he changed form, would it re-roll?
Grau is 17 strength in all his forms. So that's a pretty solid spell.
Well, it's not really because it maxes out at 18 apart from for fighters, right?
Tenths of a point after 18. So 18-10 is better than 18.
But
and
only for warriors,
18-60. Yeah, 18-60 is...
Yeah, but only for warriors.
Right, but that would only be in bear form.
Yeah, so even if I rolled like a 5, it would put him up to 18.
We'll go from +1 to +2 +3. Let me check.
It's good. I mean, it's an hour level is why strength is good, but...
Yeah, you would give him +1 or +2 to damage, unless you rolled an 8, in which case you'd give him +1 to hit and +2 to damage in bear form.
If I cast it on him when he's on bear form and then turns into a human and back to a bear, is it still in effect?
There's only one way to find out.
Of his forms? Yeah, well, it's like I don't want to learn the spell and then have it be useless.
Yeah.
When I've got limited spell options. There's knock, which is good. I kind of really wanted to get magic key because it's different, and knock is kind of like overdone.
Don't you have access to magic key?
I do have access to magic key. I keep failing it.
Right.
So I could learn knock instead, which is better, but I kind of don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I still definitely want to get
plebeian spell.
Yeah, Wall of Gloom is a good one. I like that. And that's on brand. Displace Self is also on brand. Do you know what I really want is some basic illusionary spells, but I haven't got any
Mm-hmm.
or access to any of
Mm.
them. Like, I can't even remember what they're called at the low levels, but what are they called? Not Phantasmal Killer, Phantasm something.
Mm-hmm. Something like
But
that.
I haven't got access to any of them. Okay, I think I'm just going to learn Displace Self.
Excellent. What is your chance to learn?
I think this counts as a shadow spell. So it would be pretty high at 80%. You can, I don't know if
Let's
we can
see.
confirm this counts as a shadow spell. I think it was in the
I am
list.
checking. Oh no, that is Shadow Magic, not Shadow Mage. Hmm. Let's see. Shadow spells. Uh, Blur? No. What is this spell that we're
Displace
looking at?
Self.
Display Self, second level. Not a Shadow Mage spell. So
Oh, really?
sorry.
Okay. I'll still try it then. So
Okay.
50%.
What's your 50%?
It would be 65, but because it's non-shadow, it's 50. Okay, I'm going
Hmm.
to just go 50 or lower. Gotta scroll
Don't you
down
have
and
a
see it.
minus 15% chance for all non-shadow spells?
Yeah, so it's 65, so it's minus 50%.
Oh, right. Okay. Otherwise, it would have been. Sorry, I was looking at your con, not your system shock, not your chance to learn. My
Yeah,
mistake.
but I failed to learn the spell, so it was not meant to be.
Super fun. What a productive session we've had.
Oh, yeah, wait,
So
no,
much
you forgot one
accomplished.
thing. I read
What?
the Gardener's Journal.
Yes. The Gardener's Journal is mostly just him practicing writing things, and it'll be like one page of the same sentence over and over again. But by the time you get to, through the first 20 of these papyrus pages,
Hmm.
um, you start getting to like actual something that he's trying to write. And in this journal, the young gardener, is writing a letter. He's writing a letter to young Miss Whisperwood. It is some sort of like love confession letter that he would be writing to the young noble lady who works at the house, who lives at the house for whom he gardens.
Yeah.
And he's trying his best to like make it look as nice as possible because he's practicing his penmanship.
Yeah, okay. Well, sounds, uninteresting, really.
Completely, unless you
Yeah.
want to get involved in Thalius's offsprings or
No.
related people's love life.
I think
There's no angle there.
I throw the journal away one day
It
whilst
works
walking
so
through the
hard.
streets. I know.
It's his
Alas.
hardest work.
Okay. I spend the rest of the time trying to find translations, feeling a little bit. I mean, no, actually, I think I probably would spend. I think I would go to speak to Ren at some point and be like, "We need to bust into this house." Essentially, is what I would do. And he's going to be like, "Well, I'm
Hmm.
busy," and I'll say, "Well,
Hmm.
you're not busy at night, are you?" And then,
It's true.
because he's probably staying there as well, so I could stay in the temple with him, and then I wouldn't have to keep passing back and forth through the
Mhm.
gate either.
Well, he might, and I'm just gonna suggest that Ren is in a moment of like dedicated fervor. He's supposed to be showing his, passion for this and doing a big favor for this cleric. So he might say, "I can do it at night, but let's just wait until I'm done with my 30 days."
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
let's do it. Let's not, mess up what I got going on here.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's
And
what he says. I think
yeah,
I
and
will
that way,
stay. If I can stay with him in the temple, though, I will. I might have more luck finding someone who speaks Elven in the upper city, inner city. It's also maybe more likely to get noticed there.
yeah, we also haven't done our weekly notice check for you this week.
Mm.
Mm, no, but that's close.
Well, close but no cigar, Neil, as the saying goes.
Yep. Yep. Next week is also fine. Hold on. So in your 4th week here in the city,
Hmm.
once we've come back from the mess, someone going to notice you. There's a
Oh shit.
3 in 20 chance each week of someone picking up on you, increased at gates, or rolled again, I should say, at gates. Um, and after 3 weeks, during the 4th week, someone in the city notices you. Why don't you give me a perception check or a charisma check?
Let's see. Let me just see
Your
what.
call.
Okay, I'll go for perception on that one. I think.
Okay.
Oof.
You don't notice that they notice you.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. Gonna make some quiet rolls over here by myself, figuring out who this person is that sees you, what their motivations are, and who they might go to if they are the sort of person to go to someone. We got to figure out like their class, mission, their alignment. Are they working for the veracity? Do they hate veracity? Does that even matter?
Yeah.
So let's start with social mission. It's more likely to be a commoner of some type than it is a noble person.
True.
With a 6, then we're definitely dealing with just a regular old average Joe, just a regular person. They're unlikely to have great finances, might even be serious trouble. They are more broke, significantly more broke than the average commoner, fortunately.
Well, that's
They
not
rolled a
helpful
3
actually.
on their income. Yeah.
I feel like it makes them more likely to
Hmm.
say something, doesn't it?
I think it does. Um, the next thing we should do is check out their level of like, I'm going to immediately act on this information, or I'm going to get a little closer and figure out like how quickly are they to maneuver? Because some people will just see something and run away and say something. Other people are going to come and verify.
Yeah.
This guy's pretty certain he knows who you are. He's down on his luck. And he's like, hey, wait a minute. I think I just spotted that mage that's worth so much money. Oh my God, I'm going to be rich. And just books it immediately. Which, lucky for him, he's right. Otherwise, he's just going to look a fool. This is probably why he doesn't have any money to begin with, is that
Mm.
he's acting before thinking.
Where's he seeing me is another thing as well. Like, has he seen me just walking through the
Mm,
street, or has he seen me in the tavern?
that's true. Um,
Because if he saw me on the street, there's only so much he can do, really.
right. So, ooh, 16. Um, he sees you going into a place where you're trying to get like a translation, and you end up talking to someone about like, oh hey, how do you know, like, how much kobold do you know, or how much halfling do you know? So he
Yeah.
sees you in a spot where you're like interacting with someone and money changes hands. Small amounts, we're not bothering tracking it.
Yeah.
And the next question is, how quickly
This is
can
the
he
last
get
week,
to
right?
the people? This is the last week. How quickly can he get this information to the right people? Slowly. He knows that this person is wanted. He can go get a wanted picture, but he can't read. This guy is so sad. These
He's
dice
sad.
rolls are so bad. So he's got to go around finding someone to help translate this wanted poster. And I think he's just going to end up at a guard station saying, I've seen this man on the streets. The guards, seeing this drowned and dirty peasant, are, not exactly likely to believe him.
No.
It's an old wanted poster. So the guards are just going to tell him, we'll go to the family and you can talk to them about it. And they're not going to act on this shit. He's got to go to the inner city. He can get through the gate, no problem, because he's just going to the inner city for some reasonable business. You can go up to the house and say, hey, I've seen this. And the house, they're still actively looking for Arachis. They're probably going to follow up on everything. But he's a down and dirty begging, not quite beggar.
He's just
He's
trying
on
to
the
get some
lower end
money.
of social
I bet you he
class.
probably even asked for some gold there and then for the information.
Mm,
And that's
let's
going to
see
make me very
how
suspicious.
believable. Oh my God. His one good roll is an 18. Yes.
They believe
He
him, okay.
describes Arachis, and maybe they're just excited. Maybe they think he's actually done it. Maybe, the gardeners had this weird problem and the kid's book went missing. So now that someone sees Arachis, they're going to take this a little bit more seriously. They're going to have to go back to the shop where you're like talking to a halfling or something about how you might say these in another language.
Oh, shit.
They're going to talk with the halfling there and be like, hey, did this guy really see someone? The halfling would obviously say yes. And is super helpful with the 19. He's just like the most helpful halfling you've ever been. He can point them in the direction that you came from pretty easily. And say
nothing,
that, well, it proves nothing, but like, yeah, he had the vibe of someone who
No,
was
but I'm
going
saying
around
that
looking for things.
The direction I came from doesn't necessarily point back to my inn. Right? Because
it's most likely that you left the inn, you went to do something, and then you went back to the inn, and then you left the inn again to do something.
They could have quite easily been doing two different things and come from somewhere else.
You could have. But with a 19 on their how well can the halfling provide them with information check, the halfling does a great job. Part of the luck is that you just happen to be coming from the right place at the right time. And then I think, can they find the place? Which is highly likely. It's not can they find the place. It's how long does it take them. So if they roll really poorly, maybe they find you after Ren shows up. If they roll really well, they find you before, like while Ren is working.
There's also like how subtle they are at doing it. I mean, I might catch on that somebody's looking, right?
With this, they'll find you the same day that they're out looking. And so I want a perception check from you as you're in the tavern doing your thing,
20.
sitting down, looking at your words, and you look up, maybe.
With a 20,
natural 20.
Look up. Yeah.
You look up, and through the windows of your bar, of your tavern one day, you can see there are like 4 people in half plate with long swords and like crowns and crests. And you were there looking at what's a Draken Manor for a little while. And they've got like the little family crest on the name of Draken Manor. And you can see emblazoned on these guards' breastplates is the Draken Manor sigil as they're standing out front of a tavern, looking up at it, talking with each other. And then they begin to walk in.
I need to act immediately as soon as I see this.
Yeah. I think at first you might be like, hey, that's a coincidence. And then when they come into the tavern, I think it
with a 20, I would say that I might cotton on before
you did 20.
They get in.
All right. Before they get to actually step in.
Okay. So there is a question here as to whether I have my stuff with me when I'm down in the room or not. Like I'm in the common room of the tavern. Like, is all my stuff still in my room? Or do I have it on me?
Suspect that you're not carrying your food and water and your stuff and your bedroll with you up and down the stairs every day.
So as soon as I see this, what they're going to do is they're going to speak to the innkeeper and ask where I am. So I immediately, before they even get in, I run upstairs to my room and I gather my things.
You leave in a flash, like hurry and just get the fuck out.
I gather my things. I get into the hallway of the upstairs. I cast Alter Self to turn into just a random person. I just walk out.
Okay. Now, Alter Self, change your characteristics, change your height, change your weight, maybe even make you look like a tall dwarf or a half elf or something.
Or a woman.
Or a woman. A woman with a very Arachis looking face. So they're going to need...
I mean, I think you're pushing the sort of the spell there a little bit.
There's not a guarantee that they're going to see you, but it isn't going to be a guarantee that you escape. There is going to be...
But I feel like they would need a natural 20 to say that, oh, that small halfling lady looks like Arachis.
Maybe, but if you're hunting someone that you think might be a spellcaster, it's very different than if you're just looking for a random person, right?
It is.
They're looking specifically for a human because this guy saw you as a human and the halfling saw you as a human. So they're definitely looking for a human male.
Yeah.
But if you're hunting a wizard, you're just going to be a little bit more careful. You know, you're going to tap the floor in front of you as you walk down this hallway, even if it's safe 99.9% of the time.
You've got your magic mug with you, just in case it's a silencer.
Exactly. It's just, you know, on hand, mug of
It's ready to
shattering.
go.
I'm just going to do this one publicly, though. Roll 20. So 1d20. You're disguised. We're going to do 2d20. Keep
I'm disguised
the lowest.
very well.
That's what it's 2d20. It's a disadvantage roll. Plus
On what check?
their it's going to be a charisma check, just a 3d6 for their charisma.
Before you roll this, I'm not just saying this because my character's about to die, but genuinely, I don't think disadvantage is enough to account for the fact that I'm a totally different person.
Yes, but this isn't just a random passerby. This is someone who is specifically looking for you.
Well, I understand. Right? A random passerby would have no chance.
No chance.
And I think, I mean...
And this isn't like you're walking through an area where they're checking dozens of people. They are looking for Arachis right now in this one place. It's very different than if, like, you know, they're watching people walking through a door and just, like, trying to notice. This is
No. Hang on. They don't know I'm in this tavern. They've guessed, luckily. They've come to the right tavern. They've got no reason to think this is the tavern that I'm in.
Has a red-robed wizard been staying here? Yeah.
Until they
just ran up the staircase.
No, until they speak to the innkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Until they speak to the innkeeper, they don't know that there's a red wizard staying here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. We'll give them disadvantage, 1 charisma check for the whole lot of them, and a -1. Or, you know, 4 guards and plate. Yeah. Four guards being led by the man who wants this money. So close. It's a 19 at the end of the day. They have 10 charisma. Our rolls were a 17 and a 10. Yeah. You don your stuff. You walk out the room. You walk right past them. You're also trying not to look nervous, right?
Yes.
It can be hard to walk past someone who you know is about to kill you if they can.
Absolutely.
You step out. As you get down to the bottom of the stairs, you can hear the knocking on your door, followed by the kicking of the door as it comes off its hinges, and the guards go in.
I think I need to get out of the city. I think what I'll do is try and wait for Ren on the road. Like where I think he's going to pass through, and then try and grab him as he passes out. But I'm going to stay like in the wilderness, I'm not staying in the city at all because they're looking for me now.
Mm-hmm. All right. You will get out to the street.
Yeah. I need to get out the gate before word gets to the gate.
Yeah. Because these guards, they came in, they asked the innkeeper, you know, is this guy staying here, someone who might match this description? And he's like, well, yeah, he actually just got up from his seats just a moment ago and went upstairs. The guards will be like, you know, he's a wanted man. What room is he in? And they're imposing. The innkeeper tells them. They go up the stairs, meet some random chick coming down the stairway. Go to the door, knock on it, open it, kick it open. He's not there. Immediately suspect invisibility. There's some shouts. There's some, like, you know, searching of the room for invisible things by swinging swords and whatnot into every possible corner. And then there is 2 guards go. 1 guard stays in the room. 2 guards go to just start knocking open other doors. And 1 goes downstairs to talk to the innkeeper again. Our innkeeper's going to make an intelligence check. And say, like, well, no, I haven't seen him. He did just go upstairs. But you know, I think I saw a... Well, no, you changed face. You would have changed gear. You wouldn't have carried maybe your same shadow staff. No, maybe the innkeeper doesn't notice that you just walked out. But he swears that you just went upstairs.
Yeah, I think that's
paid
fair.
Up through the end.
I also think, to help you, the room probably looks like it's been hastily cleared out. Like the drawers are flung open.
Right. these guards.
Things left behind.
There are 4 of them. We're going to make one check for the 4 of them. See if one of them is aware enough of Alter Self or something like it that wizards might have. They all actually, you know what? They work for a wizarding family. They're probably a little bit more attuned to spells and their possibilities than your average person. And with the 24, indeed, they're like, you know what? I think that woman was probably him. They would immediately send one person, maybe 2 people out, 1 more to keep searching, 2 more to keep searching rooms, 2 to chase after you. And then they go out the doorway.
There's been some time since
then. That
though.
way, they can get.
I mean, that's at least 3 or 4 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. All right.
I think I need to go straight to the
Arachis-
gate and hope to get to the gate before my Alter Self runs out.
Yeah. But you're not. Are you? Does that mean you are running to the gate? Are you like in full sprint, fleeing
I don't
the
know
city?
how far I am. How far am I from the gate?
You are. 10-minute, 20-minute walk.
Oh,
Maybe
fuck,
a 5-minute sprint.
20-minute walk that's far.
Yeah. You're almost as far from the gate as you can be. You're kind of in the middle of the blocking areas.
That is unfortunate. Let me check the duration of this.
2 minutes per level plus 3d4 minutes.
It's not going to last until we get to the gate.
Mm-mm. Definitely not. Well, 3d4
I think I
plus
need
8?
to.
Yeah.
It's not. On average, it would be 15 minutes. I'd have to roll almost max. Yeah, I would have to roll max for it to be 20 minutes, and even then I'd get caught going through the gate. So I think I know that well, no, because I could sprint, right? You're saying I could sprint and get there quicker.
You could sprint. Yeah. But then you'd be the person running through the streets.
Yeah. How often have I seen people sprinting through the streets?
It happens. People run all the time. Usually when they've got something to run from.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but that way if they go around, hey, did you see a woman around here? They'd be like, yeah, some chick just ran off. It might raise your profile. Maybe not. Can you get through the city looking like normal Arachis? I'm just imagining these are the thoughts running through your head while you're walking.
Yeah. I think I've got 2 options, which is one to try and hide in the city and then escape tomorrow with a different Alter Self spell on a different form. Is there any obvious hiding places that I've seen? Like there's that like really dingy tavern I went in, right?
There are some places you're not super familiar with the city. You could just start ducking down alleys and hoping to run into something.
I think I'm gonna.
Do you even know you're being chased, though? You're probably not even being chased, right?
I don't. No, I heard them kick open the door. I think it's fair to be panicked. And I think his thinking is, can I get out of the city before the spell runs out?
Yeah. The only way to get out of the city before the spell runs out is to run.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna run. I think I'm gonna run, and then when I get close enough, I'm gonna obviously slow down and attempt to just leave. Wait. People aren't being frisked when they leave the city, are they?
No. Just the way you can even keep your weapons and armor in the city. Yeah, the gates are just more defensive against outside monsters than about brigands or thieves. Okay. Through the streets we run.
Yeah.
Which means unless the guards immediately find which way you went, they will lose your trail. They absolutely 100% need to pass either a perception check or a charisma check. We haven't rolled their perception yet, so let's do that to see if they can like spot something unusual in the crowd or, describe you well enough to a passersby. 1d20 plus 3d6, which essentially is a 50-50 chance that they might notice you. A little less. Or have an idea that you're running. And it's a natural 20. Yeah, they must get out the street, out the building, and they're doing the left and the right, and someone says that way, and they start heading that way, and that's when you like turn a corner and begin to run. They catch you in profile.
Wait, really? Hang on. There's 4 minutes between me and them, at least. There's no way they catch me running. How?
Okay, maybe then.
They might
run
speak to someone who says a woman ran that way.
Mhm.
That I
Well,
can
you walk
believe.
for a while, and they start running, right? And so they must
Not-
be
not
running
very
in the
long,
right
though.
direction as you. That took about 4 minutes of us talking.
No,
We talked about how you were going to do it for
It
4.
was like
right?
a minute, maybe.
The whole process of how you're going to get to the gate.
I asked some questions about whether or not, like how far is the gate and are there good places to hide? But that's stuff that I already know. Like that's stuff that Arachis knows when he's making the decision whether or not to run. I think I get round the corner from the tavern and run. And I think that gives me a
they've
4 minute
seen
head start on
someone.
them.
Yeah, someone will definitely know which direction you're heading in, and so they're going to run after you. So Arachis, let's see. Let me see if these people are encumbered at all, and then we're going to do an opposed strength check. They're wearing half plate, and that's actually kind of heavy. It's not the fastest armor out there, but they're probably quite a bit stronger.
How many of them are? There's only 2, right?
Only 2.
Christ, am I actually going to die here?
£45 plus swords and clothing and padding. Okay, so they're not going. They're going to be lightly encumbered. So what we need to do, Nick, is that they need to pass. They need to pass 2. Wait. If you pass a strength check, you can run to the city walls without having to stop. If you fail a strength check, then they need to pass a strength check to keep up with you and catch you. So if you
I'm
win a
4
strength
rounds
check,
ahead of them. Right?
yeah,
Do
yeah.
they
If you
catch
win a
up
strength
4
check
rounds?
at all, maybe.
Okay.
If you win any strength check right here, guaranteed success, you're free. If you fail a strength check, they need to pass a strength check to run in their armor and then pass a second strength check to catch up to you in their armor. They will need 2 successes if you fail once. But they have like 15 strength. That's the deal.
But
Just
they're
roll
at
well. Just roll well.
disadvantage? They're at disadvantage because of their encumbrance, or?
No,
that's
the
it. That's
encumbrance is
2
why that
checks.
they have to pass 2 because their running speed is lower.
Equivalent to disadvantage, then, essentially.
Essentially, yes, absolutely. But you just have to just roll well.
30.
Boom!
Let's
Boom!
go, we're gone.
You're gone.
That's 3
They never quite catch up to
10
you.
minutes.
They never get to actually see you other than as that woman walking down the stairs. You can get out to the gates. You can make your way free. And as you walk down the road away from the guards, maybe Arachis throws a look over his shoulder and sees the guys in plate mail, half plate mail, panting at the guard station,
I
wondering.
managed to slip out of the city.
Get there because they passed their first strength. They fail their second. They're at the gates, winded, looking out to the dusty road. Just a bunch of fucking people. Could be. And did he make it to the gate? Maybe he didn't even go to the gate. Maybe he's just somewhere else in town.
I
He
don't
did
know.
run. But he ran when we came in. They must have seen us through the window. He's alive, though. We know he's alive still. It's time to start looking.
All right. Well,
Maybe.
I guess I get out and I hide in the woods for a couple of days.
Maybe they'll start searching the nearby area. Maybe they'll start asking people on the road if they saw a red-robed wizard walking by. If they just start asking people who are coming towards town,
Yeah.
they're going to be able to actually know when he got off the road based on the timing of when people stopped seeing him. That'll give
I
them
agree.
some clue.
No. But I think I stay off the road,
Ooh.
to be fair.
Yeah.
I think I try and stay off the road. I mean, I was trying to stay close because I need to catch Ren. But I think right now, I think it's pretty obvious that I need to get off the road as soon as possible. Because the road goes one way. I stay on the road. It's inevitable they're going to find me in the end. So I think I need to get off the road into the woods or something. And maybe, why don't you roll an encounter check? Maybe there's some giant spiders or something.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's an open plain land. There's no forest nearby.
Well, fuck,
Bummer.
I guess. You win some, you lose some, Neil. What are you going to do?
Wait, who won this one?
I won this one. I escaped.
Okay, yeah. And no giant spiders, so that's a win.
Yeah.
It's always a win.
Yeah.
Okay. off the road into the grasslands, hanging out at a nearby village, waiting to run into Ren.
Catch Ren, yeah.
Sleeping in barns or pastures. What do you do about your red robes?
I don't even know if I do that going into the village, because like they go to each village. Have you seen a red-robed wizard? Oh yeah, there's one staying in Jimmy's barn.
Well,
I mean,
you're gonna need food. You don't have infinite food. You have some small amount of days of food on you, right? You've been staying in the city for 3 weeks.
That's true. I can catch food with sleep spells. I don't think I need to get into villages. I think the danger is getting attacked in the woods.
Right. We've already said that there's not a lot of monsters around because they've all been employed. So the lands are actually pretty safe right now. The Empire might not be all that bad. It's actually never been safer to be on the roads.
It's never been safer.
Yeah,
that's true. That's the kind of thing that the normal person on the street's going to care about, though. The roads being safe. I mean, that's a genuine thing to be happy about.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you also have to serve goblins, and
that's
your taxes are higher, and the oppression's never been greater. But the roads are safe. It's a trade, right? Civil rights for freedoms.
Yeah. So I try and head into some woods that are near the road. Ideally, where I can get a good view of the road, like maybe on a hill or somewhere where I can go to the edge of the trees and see the road in the distance. And
this is a pretty grassy area. Not a lot of forests. There's, of course, the tree here or there, usually near the rivers, so actually in the lower spots. We can put you on a hill in plain view, where someone's going to see your red robes from a great distance. Or we can put you like near a creek in some trees that maybe like a bridge crosses over. Something like that.
Would that be the path that Ren would have to take? Yeah,
I mean, there is going to be some small creeks and rivers, small creeks and streams. Bridges will cross them, and there'll be the forested, grassier areas.
I think it's just as long as I can, as long as like I'm in a position near the road where if there's 4 men on horseback and plate mail coming down the street, like down the path, that I can get away from the road before they get there. As long as we'll be able to see that coming, then that's okay. I don't know if you want to do this now, but I will obviously the next morning change my spell list pretty significantly.
Yeah. Tell me what you change it to, because we're just about out of time here.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go.
I do want to know if there's anything I should be aware of.
Yeah.
Chat, the problem with this game that Nick is in Colorado right now visiting me. And so as soon as this is over, I actually have to look him in the eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
And continue to socialize with him for the next couple of days instead of being able to walk away for a week and
let me stew.
Oh boy.
Okay. This do I want the altar self or not? I think Blair is not going to help me. If I'm honest, it's kind of garbage. So this is my spell list. I've got Chill Touch, 2 Sleeps, a Spook, and a Moonglow. And then I've got Spectral Hand, Scare, Alter Self, and Ray of Enfeeblement.
Oh, okay. So you have some very strong defensive spells here.
Yeah, so I think, like, the thing is, I couldn't have dealt with those guards in the city, but I do think I could deal with 2 guards, probably.
But you've notably taken like non-offensive hand. Well, you did take Chill Touch. Actually, you don't have that many offensive spells.
No, I don't have many, but I've got Sleep, and I've got Ray of Enfeeblement, and I've got Scare.
And Spook and Scare. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if they come for you, you've got some spells that you can throw at them.
Yeah. I'm not out of the woods yet, so to speak, but at least if it's been one night, then I've got some protection now.
Yeah. Let's just, because I'll kick myself later. I'm just gonna do another die roll to see how long it might, how effective their methods and how
You're not gonna get
much effort and how effective they are in searching these things. And we're just gonna do a flat D20, which I will just interpret on the spot using my magic DM powers.
Middle of the road.
It's not a great roll. Yeah. They will begin to search the area. They got to go back. They got to tell everyone what happened. They got to get some more people. They got to start searching roads. They're doing a slow and methodical approach is what this is. It's a talk to a couple of people every place that you go. They figured out when you got off the road based on when people stopped seeing you. Search those areas. Also search up the road, nice and slow. You'll see them coming, is what I'm trying to say. And if you get, half a day out of town, the next day, halfway through the day, you'll see flint and armor coming down the road, people on horseback, hopping off
quick,
at
then. The next day.
Yeah, the next day. They're definitely looking for you, but they're not like chasing you down quickly.
Yeah, well,
they give you enough time that you'll probably see them coming.
There's some trees by the creek, right? I mean, when I know that they're coming this way, I'll just go in deeper into the trees.
Okay. And then, is it deeper in the trees? Wait a day and then come back. Then let them pass and then come back. Sort of
I'm
thing?
waiting for Ren.
Or is this Okay, you're definitely still waiting for Ren. This isn't like wander off and start heading home.
Well, I mean, if the roads are safe, maybe I could walk on my own, but it feels dangerous to be traveling alone, so I'd rather wait for Ren, yeah.
Okay.
Because all of this depends on when Ren is leaving as well, because this was the 4th week, remember? So
Right. So let's just roll me a 1d7. We'll see how many days it was until Ren was going to leave.
Okay, yeah.
Oh. Okay. So here we are on day 2, middle of day 2. You saw them coming. You walk away. You let them pass, which is like a hour thing. Because you see them down there and they're talking to people. So you wait like an hour or two. Or maybe you can find a spot where you can look at the road going the other direction. You can see them pass. And then you head back. Or what? You've got
into the woods.
You've got 5 days. So you're going to wait in the wood for 5 days and then come back to the road?
Yeah. I think so. I'm hoping that they leave and then they go back to the city. And then they've crossed this direction off their list.
Okay. Great. It's unlikely for anyone to run into you. I mean, you are sort of near farmland and civilization. You're intentionally trying to keep to yourself. It's not impossible or even entirely unlikely that some farmer might
in the day
see
I
someone
stay
in the
low.
woods.
I can see at night, so I can hunt at night. So I don't need to show myself during the day. And obviously, I don't think it's metagaming to say, because I know that you've kind of narrated what they've been doing, and that's giving me some sort of knowledge here, but I don't think it's metagaming to say that any interaction with the commoners is going to get me caught. Like, any person that sees me is a lead that they can follow. So I think I do everything to stay hidden from the view of anyone, really.
All right. And with 4 days left, you probably have 1 or 2 days of rations in your bag. You can sleep animals, but I don't know if you know how to, like, build a fire and cook them on the road. And maybe that would be problematic. Maybe not. Either way, you can go a few days without food. It's not a huge issue.
No, but I don't. I mean, surely I can build a fire.
With what tools?
Just by,
It's going to rub 2 sticks together?
Yeah, that's how it's done. What do you mean?
I mean, that's not how... In theory, it's possible, but I dare you to find an ordinary person who just rubs 2 sticks together to make wood. You use flint and steel. More likely, you just get fire from your next door neighbor because you don't want to have to hit rocks together. Even with modern steel scraping stones, I can't remember what they're called, that like produce huge showers of sparks. Getting a fire started is kind of a bitch.
I agree.
You don't have any fire spells.
A fire kind of... No, I don't have any fire spells. A fire kind of gets me noticed as well, anyway.
Yeah.
So, maybe you're right. Maybe I can do a bit of foraging, though? I don't know.
Yeah, you can do a little bit of foraging. Maybe just out in the woods kind of hungry for a little while. Yeah. You're not going to starve to death. It's not a problem.
By a creek.
And there's a creek.
Water.
Fresh water. Maybe you catch a frog and eat it raw if you get desperate. So really low chance of a farmer or someone spotting you during one of these times.
These guards are
3d20s.
They're lucky to not find me, because I will kill them if they find me.
Yeah. 3d20s, take the lowest one. Super, super unlikely. And then we're going to do a average character, 3d6, and then -3 for the pain in the ass of like actually seeing him and then deciding like, maybe I should tell someone that sounds like someone. It's just...
I think you dropped one of your straws there, Neil.
That's the wrong...
That's the wrong
that
fucking
was the
way.
highest. That was
still,
18. It should be an 8. It should be 10 less. It should be a
21.
21.
It's 21. It's a pass.
Well, look at this farmer. Look at his stats. He's got a 16 and, Okay. All right, but how many? You had 4 days left. Where in those 4 days does that happen? Day 3 of those 4 days, and you're a day and a half out of town. So the farmer, he's gonna go back and he's gonna tell him he's seen something. But by then, Ren has already left. By the time, because it takes him a day and a half to get back to the area, the town, to make his fortune and money, which is probably what he's
now
going
they're
after.
actually on the trail of Ren and I. As we leave.
Yeah, so Ren will come down the road. You'll catch Ren. The two of you will start heading back. And these people will have been recently alerted that you were seen near this bridge area, vaguely near this bridge area.
And interestingly, I wouldn't know at this point because I've left.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be. I at that point, I think I'm home and dry actually. So I wouldn't even say to Ren like, I might mention what happened, but I won't say that I think we're being followed.
Right.
So we'll have to see what happens with that, I guess.
Well, that would require an entire dedicated session. I'm trying to roll our way out of having to do that. So what are the chances that you and Ren see these people chasing you down before you do? Because before they were going fairly methodically.
Well, just because they see me in that forest as well, it does not mean that they know that I've headed down the road with Ren. Like,
absolutely not.
I mean, so I genuinely feel like they're not finding me because how?
No, you're right. Yeah, it's probably a 1 in 3 chance that.
Would it not be 1 in?
Well, no. I'm going to give it a 50-50 chance that either they go down the road or they search the nearby countryside. Right.
Okay.
Road or countryside. Road is a 1 on a D2, and countryside is a 2 on a D2. They go down the road. You know, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense to chase down the road. But surely they're coming down the road.
Hang on. Let's just use a bit of logic, because at this point, I'm being seen about 6 days later in a spot a day from the city. So why would they then think that I'm on the road? Because I've clearly been I've been in this area for 5 days, so why would I now be on the road?
You're right. You probably wouldn't be down the road. But it would mean that you're not leaving the area, and they might want to go down the road and like set up a roadblock or put up some sort of like containment. Maybe they want to go out and fan her back. Maybe not.
Maybe. I feel like more likely is they'd search the forest. Search the surrounding countryside. I feel like that makes more sense. I mean,
let's see how many days it takes them to search the area.
I'm up for killing the guards with Ren. That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
But then,
how long does it take to search this area? You know, it's probably not gonna spend 5 days, but let's do a 1D4 for how long they're gonna search this region. 2 days, and then they'll probably give up. Like, he's definitely not here, right? There's definitely no reason.
It's been over a week at this point since they've seen me.
Yeah, but they just got reports that you were in the area. They searched the area for 2 days.
Okay, they hear I'm in the area. The guy walks back to the city, which is a day and a half. Then they have to come back out. That's another day and a half. So it's now been 3 days since the guys see me.
So, you know,
they search the countryside for 2 days. Now it's 5 days since that farmer saw me.
The half day, at the end of the middle of the half day, they find you. They spend the rest of that day searching the area. They spend the entire next day searching the area, and you're not here. So obviously, like, you saw them coming, and you left.
But they'd already been
went down the road
once, and I didn't leave.
Yeah, but you didn't leave. But this time, they searched for you instead of just chasing down the road from village to village.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a chance. There's a chance that they are going to be very persistent. They keep being met with failure.
Yeah,
so you're going to do a willpower check. Just
a
willpower check. Maybe they're going to put in that extra effort. After all, this is their family's honor. They're still putting out wanted posters worth thousands of gold. Like, this is.
I think
this is the lot.
I think if they pass this check, though, we have to play out the consequences next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
26. Yeah, they're gonna keep going down the road, and they're gonna
they're at least a few days behind me, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're gonna probably run into them. 1.5. So he goes back that day. Then they get that day is there. That's when Ren gets to you. So it's 1, 2, 3. You have a 3-day head start on them. Maybe 4 day if my math is off.
I think it's 4 personally, but yeah.
Yeah, but in this situation, they're going to be on horses,
Yeah.
which makes them go faster. So we'll call them 2 days behind you, but also will make it more easy to see them coming.
Mhm.
They'll increase their height. So somewhere in here, we have to do a Ren and Arachis are being chased by these guards and either have to escape them or fight them. And if you fight them, well, that's one thing. That'll be a big story. Maybe not a big story. Maybe, but at least the people will be looking for you. If you can escape them, you'll just be lost to time and sands.
Yeah,
so
these are fucking Neil Team 7, these guys, and they're not going to give up. They'll chase me to the ends of the earth. Interrogating farmers.
Okay. Well, we'll talk with all the other cast members and see what we want to do. Maybe we can sneak in a short mini session with you and Jamie.
Yeah, we might have to.
I think we might have to. Okay. Well, that's it for Outcasts, everybody. We will be back in the very near future.
Bye, guys.